Hey guys, welcome to the channel. As you see in the thumbnail, what if Naruto teleported in Hyperdimension Neptunia and harem? Before I start, please do support for more awesome content and subscribe my channel and like this video. Go support and follow the MARK 20020 for writing that awesome fanfic, and also make sure to comment on this story, link in the description. Let's start this video. Well, this is not good, a blonde teen thought as he felt a familiar sensation of vertigo from falling. Taking note of his surroundings, he was pretty sure that he was not in Konoha like he was supposed to be in, and there were no sign of the three giant toads he was supposed to be with. Sighing to himself, the teen was brought out of his thoughts when he saw something in the edge of his vision. Turning to face the object, he couldn't help but sweat drop a bit. Another person falling. Well, either falling from the sky is a normal thing, or she's as in much trouble as I am. No time to debate this. Breaking from his thoughts, he shouted out, "Hey, are you alright there?" Receiving no answer, he couldn't help but get a bit more worried and tried to shift himself towards her. A few meters away, he could make out a few features, such as the person being a petite girl with purple hair. Not only that, but he saw that she was unconscious, which made him worry. Reaching the girl, the teen couldn't help but face fault when he saw a peaceful expression on her face, along with a bit of drool coming from her half-open mouth. Reaching the girl, he held her bridal style and looked down towards the now visible ground. "Hang on tight, oh, who am I kidding," mumbling to himself. Just another normal situation for Uzumaki Naruto, is what this is going to hurt. Tried to reinforce his legs with chakra, only to find himself not being able to. What's going on? Naruto thought to himself as he tried channeling his chakra again, only to fail. "Hey Kyuubi, what's going on?" Naruto shouted in his head. Hearing nothing respond back, he became a bit more worried. "Hey, do you really want me to die right now?" Figuring out that he had no one to help him now, Naruto did what he had been training to do to gather energy from meditation. Despite being in mid-air and falling towards the ground, Naruto still concentrated and entered a state of stillness and began to search for chakra. Finding none in the atmosphere, Naruto expanded his search for any type of energy and soon found something faint. Feeling rushed to find any type of energy source, Naruto pulled and gathered the energy and immediately channeled it through his body. What's this energy? It feels more potent than chakra. I don't think I can keep it contained. Trying to do something about the energy, he sent the newfound energy to his legs and soon felt something forming over his legs. This will have to do for now, Naruto thought as he braced himself for the impact. In an earth-shaking crash, Naruto landed on the ground, creating a massive crater around him. That tingly sensation, Naruto said to himself as he felt the jolt from the landing travel up his body. After a few seconds of standing still, Naruto slowly made his way out of the crater he had created and gently laid the girl on the ground. "We survived," Naruto said as he collapsed next to the girl. "I hope you have a good excuse as to why you were falling in midair. Then again, I don't really have a good excuse myself." Lifting his feet up so he could see them. "That's strange, I don't remember my shoes looking like that." On his feet were not the usual ninja footwear that he always had on, instead there were some heavy boots which were black with some purple highlights. Surprisingly, they didn't weigh more than his ninja footwear and even felt more comfortable. He didn't get that much time to find out much about the shoes, as they soon disappeared in a white light, leaving his original footwear. "Well, I hope there's nothing bad out here, cause I won't be able to move for a while." Thinking soberly, Naruto tensed up when he heard someone approaching. "I think this is where that weird shooting star fell." Positioning himself towards the voice, Naruto managed to see a figure appear behind some trees that outlined the area. "Are you the Mr. Shooting Star?" Hearing that, Naruto couldn't help but sweat drop and drop his guard. Facing the source, he saw a light pink-haired young adult in a wool shirt and red skirt. Are you alright?" she asked in a slow-paced manner. Making her way over to the two, she knelt down by Naruto first to check on him. "I should be fine, my legs are just a bit tingly, but other than that I'm just exhausted. You should instead look after that girl over there, she was unconscious and falling when I caught her." Falling, unconscious, if you say so, Mr. Star." Moving over towards the purple-haired girl, the girl made a few checks before nodding to herself. "Everything seems to be alright, although I should probably take you two back to my house in case any injuries pop up." Flexing his arms, Naruto gave himself a mental nod before pushing himself upright. "Not that I don't appreciate the offer, but isn't it a bit unsafe to bring someone you just met into your house?" "That may be true, but you and that girl seem to be injured, and it's a nurse's job to help anyone that is injured." Saying that, she hoists the purple-haired girl over her shoulder in one go. "Can you walk, Mr. Star?" Making her way over to Naruto with no problem at all. Pushing with his hands, he jumps up onto his feet with no problem. "No need, I'm perfectly fine now." Walking over, he stuck out his hand to her. "The name's Uzumaki Naruto, future Hokage of Konoha." "Well, my name is Kompa, nice to meet you." Shaking his hand, she smiled before asking, "By the way, do you happen to know her name, since we're all introducing ourselves?" Scratching the back of his head, Naruto replied, not really, as I said I found her falling from the sky when I was falling from the sky too. That's not that believable, is it? I thought it was believable, after all I did see a human shape and falling. Wow, you must be really amazing person if you not only survived a landing like that, but also rescued someone at the same time. I try you just suck everyone into your place, don't you? With his head hung low he asked, so which way to your place? Oh yeah, we were going to my place, weren't we? Kampa looked left then right then left again before looking back at Naruto. I forgot where I just came from, Kampa replied in a straight face causing Naruto to face a fault. Picking himself, Naruto sighed before pointing in a direction, for now we should probably head that way, since that was where you came from. Oh right, that is probably the direction to my house, shaking his head Naruto just started walking in that direction. Hey, wait for me. Kampa shouted out as she went after Naruto with the unconscious girl over her shoulder. Beep beep beep, a sudden ringing of sorts was heard causing one occupant in a pink room to become irritated. Choo.up. Oh crackers. Did I break something? Where am I? My room. Looking over, Naruto saw the girl he was falling from the sky start to squirm. From his position he could see Kampa move over to greet her. Oh, you're up, that's good, it would have been bad if you didn't wake up. What am I doing here and why am I tucked so snugly in this bed? Moving to get off the bed, the girl looked over at Kampa. Is this your bed? Because I don't think this is my room, at least I think so. Yes, I carried you over here after you fell from the sky. I fell from the sky, how come I don't feel like I fell from the sky? Oh, what would be because of Mr. Star over there, Kampa said pointing at Naruto. It's Naruto. Kampa, you need to stop calling me Mr. Star. But calling you Mr. Star fits you more than calling you a ramen topping. It means maelstrom, Naruto sighed, careful, when you start talking to her you'll get sucked up in her pace, Naruto pointed out to the purple-haired girl. Naruto reminds me more of a ramen topping than a maelstrom. She smiled when she heard Naruto groan, if we're giving out everyone's name, then I think I should give out mine. My name is Neptune. Neptune. Well Neptune, I guess it's nice to meet you, Naruto said, trying to be well-mannered. It's nice to meet you, Neptune pelvis Neptune W1. Naruto couldn't help but sweat drop at Kampa's attempt at getting Neptune's name right. Oh, is it confusing you? Okay, then you can call me Neptuna, Nep, Peppermint, or something else. Okay then I'll call you Nep, it's nice to meet you Nep. You know what, I'm just going to rest my eyes for a bit, will you two get to know each other? Lying back down on the couch, Naruto closed his eyes ignoring the two. Stop squirming Nep. Hearing the two get suddenly louder, Naruto opened his eyes, only to quickly suppress the urge to have a nosebleed. The scene he had woken up to was Kampa standing over a naked Neptune who was wrapped up in bandages. No, you're putting them on too tight. Really? I'm just trying to make it so that you won't trip over them. Kampa, you're just making them tighter, it's getting harder to breathe. Nep, oh god, you're right, hold on, I'll get you unwrapped right now. Hey Mr. Star, can you come over here and help me? Kampa asked only to see Naruto passed out on the couch with an alarming amount of blood spilling out from his nose. Oh no Mr. Star. No air, goodbye cruel world, I barely even knew you, Neptune managed to groan out before she too passed out. What am I going to do? Kampa panicked as she looked between Naruto and Neptune's unconscious forms. Phew, man, I thought I died there for sure when the author put a line break so suddenly after I passed out. The scene opens up with a now conscious Neptune and Naruto sitting across from Kampa. Anyway, after that bondage incident I was wondering where am I? Bondage incident? No, I was just trying to treat your injuries with bandages, not bondages, a dejected Kampa said looking down and pushing her two pointer fingers together. Damn, if that's how you treat people here, should I be worried about my chastity as soon as I walk out of here? Naruto asked in a nasally tone. Ugh, these tissues are irritating. Naruto reached for the two tissues rolled up in his nose only to be stopped. No, don't touch those yet, my grandpa always said to keep the tissues in there for at least 1 hour after having a nosebleed. 1 hour even, I think that's not right and I have amnesia, Neptune stated, which caused Naruto to look at her strangely. Wait, when did we agree that she had amnesia? I'm pretty sure it wasn't mentioned in the story. Well, it was skipped over when you were off in La La Land before you passed out, I think. You know what, let's just forget that and find out where the hell we are. Taking the tissues out of his nose, Naruto threw them away and stared back at Kampa. So can you tell us where the hell we are again? Oh right, we were talking about that before, weren't we? Well, you both are in the central city of Planeptune. Planeptune? Okay, I remember someone mentioning the world below. Yes, this is one of the major landmasses below Celestia. One of the landmasses? So there are several. Wait, I feel like we're just sucked up in your pace again. Major landmasses below Celestia. Last time I checked, when I looked up I saw a sky with a setting sun there. There was no giant landmass up in the sky. In fact, how is it possible that there is a landmass in the sky? Ah, don't sweat the details man, now tell me about the other landmasses. Right then, there are 4 major landmasses floating around. Sometimes they come close to one another and other times drift away. Seriously, am I the only one who thinks this should not be possible? Yeah, pretty much, but still I don't remember anything about flying landmasses and celestia and such. You just said it yourself, flying landmasses, come on, this isn't even logical. Don't worry Nep, I'm sure you'll recover from amnesia sometime. There's no cure, but your memory should return by itself. It's like my grandpa said, fancy may killer cure. Get some sleep, take it easy, and you'll be better in no time. Company started ignoring the slightly panicking Naruto. Get some sleep. I feel like someone asked me to do something while I was unconscious, a pensive look came onto Neptune's face. Suddenly a look of realization appeared on her face. Yeah, someone was crying out for help in my dream. If someone contacted you through a dream, that it was probably not real. Well, I wouldn't be too sure on that compa, but you're probably right. But, you never know. It was so weird. I betcha someone far away was like Pachu and sent me a telepathic message, you know. Neptune said in an animated voice while swinging her arms around. It's possible. Actually, many places, Neptune included, are being threatened by more and more monsters lately. The military powers failed to keep them from appearing. We can only defend ourselves and keep them at bay now. Then there must be a boss generating all these monsters somewhere. I bet my mission is to defeat that boss and save the world. How the hell did you get that kind of idea? Naruto shouted, tired of the craziness ensuing. Ah, don't be like that, I mean think of this just like a game. We have a protagonist who lost her memory, she wakes up in a new world infested with monsters, so it's obvious that she has to go out and find a boss and defeat it. Neptune stated as if it was sensible. Of course along the way I'll have to gather party members, such as yourself, you would do well as the straight man in the group. Don't go deciding things by yourself. Naruto quickly retorted only to receive a smile from Neptune. Well, why not, I mean you've been doing an excellent job of being the straight man. That still is not a good enough reason for me to join your party. Also, from hearing what Kompa said about this place, I'm pretty sure Konoha is nowhere near here. I really need to get back home, so I don't think I can go traveling with you. But, think of it this way. We'll be traveling this world trying to find the boss, and along the way you'll have your questions answered on how to get home. Well, at least that's how it usually works out. You actually made a good point there, I guess I'll join you for now. However, when I find a way home I'll be leaving, you understand? Yup, clear as day, Neptune smiled before looking back to Kompa. So Kompa, do you know any dungeons nearby that might have any dangerous monsters nearby? Nep, this is completely irrational and dangerous, I mean you're going out with a complete stranger to fight monsters and find the final boss. You let 2 strangers into your house, you have the right to judge, Naruto slid in, causing Kompa to deflate a bit. I know, but that was only because you 2 were injured and it's a nurse's job to help all those who are injured, Kompa stated proudly before gaining a pensive look. But if I wait for people to get injured to help them, that is equally as bad as not helping them. I know I'll help you and Nep defeats the final boss, that way I'm helping everyone. I can only be a straight man for so long, I mean how do you 2 even jump to these conclusions? You admitted it. Neptune started saying as she jumped around Naruto, but company didn't say you were studying to be a nurse, doesn't that mean you'll have to skip classes to join the 2 of us? Oh, not to worry, because of all the monsters around here people have been getting killed or eaten. Students are leaving school out of fear, so it's closed down for now. Classes are suspended until further notice. Oh, that sucks, but that means you can camp out, right? Duty. Let's go find the dungeon where the boss is waiting. Seriously, you 2 have no care in the world, do you? Naruto asked, getting tired of being sucked into their pace. Well, at least we'll get something done, sighing. Naruto stood up straight and started to do an inventory of his items. Let's see, I have quite a few kunai and shuriken, so I should be fine there. As for these scrolls, unrolling it, he tried molding his chakra only to not find it anywhere. Well, this is not good, mumbling to himself he concentrated even harder only to find out he couldn't even feel his chakra. Hey Naruto, you okay? You look like you have a bad case of diarrhea. Oh, if you are, maybe you should ask Kompa for help, after all she is a nurse in training. You know, if I didn't already know you I'd say you were making fun of me. Aw, don't be like that, I mean this is the start of a beautiful friendship that will be put to the test as we go from dungeon to dungeon testing our mettle and will against the evilest of foes. Patting Naruto on the back, Neptune continued, now how about we all get together and do a group cheer? Cheer? What would our cheer be? Good question, Kompa. You know what, forget that, let's just hurry on to the next dungeon and blaze on through. Not to be negative or anything, but do you 2 even know how to fight? Naruto asked, pulling out a kunai and twirling it around his finger. I mean, if you're so bent on trying to defeat this final boss, you're going to be strong. The regular monsters did beat the regular militia around these parts, and they're all probably well trained. Well, I can use a sword, I think, Neptune stated before waving her hands around, making a wooden bakken appear in her hand. I use giant syringes for battle, they shoot bullets and hurt a lot if I smack you with it. Kampa pointed to the giant syringe that was behind Naruto, causing him to wince a bit. Sigh, well, if anything, I guess I'll be in the front lines than trying to protect you girls from anything these monsters can throw out at you. I lost most of my abilities because I can't use chakra right now, but I still have my hand-to-hand combat skills and my throwing skills, so I should be more than a match for anything we run into. Letting the kunai he was twirling slip off his finger, it launched up before coming back down into his waiting hand. So what should we do about supplies and such? I mean, I have no cash here, pretty sure Neptune doesn't have any, and I would feel bad if we mooched off of Kampa. Not to worry about that, in most games when we defeat monsters, they leave some money behind or other items like healing potions and such, so if we're ever in need of money, we'll just do some more dungeon diving. Neptune. This isn't a game. Naruto shouted, channeling his inner Iruka to make his head bigger when he did. Don't yell at me like that. Neptune said as she cowered behind Kampa, but it's true though, all the main characters and their party members always go through dungeons to gather more and more gold and materials and get stronger each time. Grabbing her cheeks, he started to pull so that her face stretched. As I stated before, this is not a game, it's real life. But I'm the main character. Neptune managed to say, even with Naruto pulling on her cheeks. Mr. Star, I don't really know about monsters dropping gold and items and such, but there are people who put up requests to kill said monsters or retrieve items that monsters have stolen from them. Looking over at Kampa, Naruto gave her a smile before letting go of Neptune's face. Well, I guess we're going to have to go on a few quests to raise our finances. Hey, don't go deciding things without the party leader. Neptune started, only to flinch when Naruto stared down at her. On second thought, yeah, quest will be good, but can we first do at least one dungeon? Doing her best puppy eyes, Naruto couldn't keep up and faltered. We'll do one before doing requests, remember if we don't have any money we won't be able to eat. Aye aye sir. Neptune and Kampa both replied at the same time. So where's the first dungeon we're going to go through? Oh, there should be one close by, it's only about a half an hour's walk from where we are right now. Really, why is there a dungeon so close by to a town? Isn't this why people are getting eaten or killed by these monsters, because they live so close to them? Who cares, let's go dungeon diving now. Neptune stated as she raced out of Kampa's room. We should probably go after her to make sure she doesn't hurt herself or get lost, Kampa stated as she slowly started to leave the room. Ever hear about pot calling the kettle black? I think my grandpa mentioned it before, but I'm not sure. Never mind then, let's go after her. Yes. Come on you two, hurry up, we have a world to save, you know. Sigh, Neptune, you don't even know where to go. Here we are in our first dungeon as a new party. Neptune shouted as she started to look around at the place they had arrived. I was kind of expecting a cave, but an abandoned factory-like setting is good too. Jumping around, Neptune went on, I bet there are really tough monsters in here. As if to pop her bubble, Kampa replied, nope, no strong monsters here. I searched this dungeon before and it was one with weak monsters. We're not ready for strong monsters yet. What? Only weaklings? Then I'll wait where I won't encounter any, and you can come get me when you find the boss. But no, you can't just leave me and Mr. Star like that. It's Naruto, Kampa, Naruto. We're a party now and you can't abandon your party or else the goddess will come down and punish you. And here we go again with let's ignore how to pronounce my name. Well, she doesn't know how to pronounce my name, so don't let it get to you, Naruto, Neptune said as she patted his back, but goddess huh? Not only do we have monsters but we also have a goddess. Man, this is getting to be really exciting. Forgetting her anxiety from before, Kampa replied, you didn't know. Silly amnesia, but forgetting even the goddesses. Oh, you poor thing. Aside from Neptune, there are 3 other landmasses. La Station, Leanbox, and Loi. Each of the landmasses is protected by a goddess and people go to the basilicum to worship them and help govern each land. The increase in monsters and their strength is not known, but some people think it's because of the goddess's weakening powers. Heated discussions on this take place every night on the Basilico's blog. Wait, so now not only do we have those flying landmasses, we have goddesses as well. God, how logical can this place get? Naruto shouted. As I said before, don't sweat it, tough guy. So anyway, Kampa, what is a basilicum? Is there one nearby? Do they bake cookies? Why the hell would a place that worships a goddess bake cookies actually? Sighing, Naruto decided to concentrate on the dungeon they were in. I don't see why they are worried about monsters, I can't even see any around us. Nep, let's go on and defeat these weak monsters. Kampa's voice broke Naruto out of his thoughts as he saw the two finally ready to travel deeper into the dungeon. Finally, I was getting worried that we'd stay at the entrance just talking all day, Naruto said, excited at finally getting something to do. By the way, what is our objective here anyway? Go to the end of the dungeon and kill the boss. Haven't you played any RPGs before? If I say no, I have a feeling we're just going to stay here longer. Well, if that's our objective, I guess on we go. Naruto taking the lead spins a kunai with his right pointer finger. So, other than monsters, are there any things we might want to look out for? Hearing no response, he took a look behind only to see that the two were nowhere to be seen. Look, Kampa, a treasure chest. Neptune stated as she started making her way towards it. Oh, hurry up and open it, Nep. Ignoring the fact that you two somehow avoided my senses and ended up way over there, why the hell is there a random treasure chest here? I mean, don't you two find it odd that there is one conveniently set near the entrance? No, I mean this is a dungeon, duh, Neptune stated before opening it. Oh awesome, a giant hammer and a bell. Here, I'll take this hammer, and you can have the bell, Kampa. Neptune threw the bell to Kampa before she started to swing the hammer she had with ease. I wonder what mine does. Kampa started to ring the bell. I don't think that was a good idea, Naruto stated as he suddenly felt a bunch of presences appearing around them. Prepare yourselves, something's coming. True to his word, from the shadows of the dungeon, strange beings started to appear around them. What he didn't expect were the beings around them to be, in a word, pathetic. What is that thing? Oh, look at Dogu. Kampa shouted out, aren't they just the cutest? I mean, they have cute eyes, nose and ears too. Looking at the creature, Naruto couldn't help but sigh. That thing is a hopping slime bear face thing. You know what, I don't care, that thing is going to die. Making his way over to the jumping slime bear thing, Naruto stood over it smirking. With all the impossible things going around me, I really need to relieve some of this pent-up stress. Seeing the slightly insane look on Naruto's face, the shrunk back and started to bounce away. Oh no, you don't, you're not going away until I feel satisfied. Laughing maniacally, Naruto started throwing his kunai while chasing the now running away. Come back here. Meanwhile, with the other two members, so he does have a breaking point, that's probably good to know, Neptune stated as she saw Naruto chasing two more. Why would he be at his breaking point? I mean, all we've done is just discuss flying landmasses, goddesses, and dungeons. Looking at the scene in front of her, she saw that somehow Naruto was now chasing four. Aw, poor, they're just the lowest of the low monsters for newbies to kill for exp, but to be hunted like that is just mean. Have to agree with you there, Kampa, only to have a sweat drop form when she saw Naruto suddenly start running the opposite direction. Oh, what's got him running? Looking at the scene, they could see a slightly panicking Naruto and what sounded like a stampede. Oh hey guys, it turns out that I've lost a lot of my power, nothing too bad. But then these things kept appearing, and wouldn't you know it, they all started coming after me. Running past them, the two could finally see a giant wave of charging in their direction. So yeah, I think I might need some help now. Boy, don't bring the party over here, even if they're weak monsters. Weak monsters multiplied by that many are not weak anymore. Neptune shouted only to receive a goofy grin from Naruto. Hey, you're the one who wants to fight the boss, so if you can't defeat these little weaklings, then what's to say you can defeat the boss? Naruto provoked Neptune, which she responded to by pulling out her weapon. Good to see you getting ready, tossing two kunai at the incoming wave. He saw them hit two, which made them disappear. Well, I'll let this slide just this once, Naruto, but next time you do something like this you'll face punishment. Neptune shouted as she started hacking and slashing at the wave that crashed onto them. There are too many to keep them away, Kampa shouted as she shot out bullets from her oversized syringe, but wasn't doing a good job of the ones that were in melee range. In a flash of orange, Naruto appeared next to Kampa and destroyed all that had formed. Well, this is partly my fault, so I'll protect you. Without even looking behind him, Naruto tossed a kunai in that direction. That goes for you too, Neptune. The kunai he tossed, destroying another that had sneaked up behind her. That should be obvious. It is your fault that we suddenly have this giant mob here, slashing and destroying another. This is really good exp though, we should probably level up a lot because of this. Taking out two more kunai, Naruto wielded them to quickly go through the monsters around them, not stopping to allow the monsters a chance to counterattack. After a few minutes of continuous fighting, the mob were finally defeated and Naruto was feeling much better. Phew, that was a good warm-up, Naruto said with a completely relieved expression on his face. It feels as if all the worry, all the craziness I've been experiencing have suddenly evaporated. That's good and all, but we don't have the same amount of stamina as you do, Neptune panted out, kneeling on the ground. I'm so tired, Kampa said as she tried to stand up only to fall back down onto her butt. I can't believe fighting monsters is this tough. Yeah, well, you two should get used to it. I mean, you wanted to go out and fight the boss, and you wanted to follow along, Naruto directed at the two. Now what the hell are those things on the ground? Oh, lucky we got some loot. Neptune shouted as she immediately ignored any pain she had and started going around collecting the items on the ground. We got a good amount of money and a few items, yeah. How? Naruto started before just shaking his head. There's always something that's going to cause me to have headaches, aren't there? What are you talking about, Naruto? This is pretty standard monsters dropping loot, right, Compa? It is, I wouldn't worry about it too much, Mr. Star, besides we have more funds now. Compa smiled, putting her hands together. I feel much better now, we should probably go on face the boss now. You're right, Compa, although if it wasn't for Mr. Leroy Jenkins here we'd probably have made much more progress than what we have right now. I'm just going to let that pass, mainly because I have no idea what Leroy Jenkins is, Naruto stated as he started moving down the hallway. Hey, where are you leaving us behind? Neptune shouted, jumping to her feet before chasing after Naruto. Come on, Compa, we have to catch up to him before he causes another major mob fight. Humming Nep Nep. Compa shouted as she followed along as fast as she could. Hey, Mr. Leroy, what's caused you to stop so suddenly? Neptune asked the now idling Naruto. He just pointed at the wire fences which blocked their path. We're going to have go another way unless we have a way to get past this. Oh, no worries, Neptune stated happily as she rushed in front of Naruto. This should handle things. Pulling out the hammer she had obtained earlier, she happily started to swing it around. This is going to hurt. Before slamming it down at the fences in front of them. In a comical explosion, the fences were blown away, leaving the path open. There, the path is open now. This world is really not good for my mental health, Naruto stated as he followed the skipping Neptune and running Compa. After going down the path for some time, Compa couldn't help but comment, you know, after that huge mob, I can't help but notice we haven't faced any monsters. I would be surprised if there were any monsters left in this dungeon after what happened with Naruto. It looked like he practically gathered all the monsters in the dungeon before we defeated them all. Hey, it wasn't me who made all those monsters appear in the first place. Come to think about it, the monsters started to appear when Company started to ring that bell she got. Naruto and Neptune both stared at Compa, who started to look nervous. This was the bell that Neptune got me, I didn't think that it would summon monsters. Hey, we're not blaming you, though I have to say it's a pretty amazing ability to be able to summon monsters, Naruto said. Oh, not going to say that it's impossible or that it's highly illogical. Neptune took a step back with a look of horror. What have you done to our Leroy Jenkins? A fist blurred over her head. Tai. It looks like we reached the end of the dungeon, Naruto said, not paying her any mind. Looking around, he saw it was an empty area, but pretty spacious. Look like there's nothing here, although that glowing purple circle in the middle of the room is pretty suspicious. Rubbing the bridge of his nose, he could feel the incoming migraine that was about to ensue. Please don't tell me it's a game thing. Then I won't, Neptune said as she skipped over to the circle. Nothing's happening when I stand in it. Naruto could only rub the bridge of his nose harder as he saw Neptune start jumping around, yelling out random things before she pulled out her hammer and started swinging it around like a lunatic. Why won't you do something? Psy, if you're so dead set on insisting that something will happen, I don't think you will be the one to do something about it. Moving over to Compa, he gently pushed her towards the circle. Why don't you go stand on that circle and use that bell of yours, also when you do prepare yourself, okay? Okay. Compa said enthusiastically before moving over to where an exhausted Neptune was. Nep, Mr. Star told me to play this bell on the shining purple spot, so I need you to move. In a show of strength, she lifted Neptune by the back of her shirt and pulled her off the circle. Alright, here I go. Come here, monsters. Compa yelled out as she used her bell again. In a matter of seconds, Naruto felt something strong approach them. As if knowing Neptune also gets up and immediately gets in a ready stance, it's here, the boss battle. Neptune shouted as the shadows gathered in front of the group and formed a weird spider-human thing that easily towered over the party. Alright party, let's conquer this dungeon. Rushing forward, Neptune started to slash at the monster, which surprisingly was being effective. Ha ha ha. Neptune shouted as she kept swinging her sword back and forth, hitting the monster multiple times. Neptune, look out. Naruto shouted, throwing a barrage of kunai to cover his approach. Sadly, the barrage didn't seem to stop the human part of the monster from lifting its sword and swinging at Neptune. Ahhh. Neptune shouted, covering her eyes as the sword made its way towards her. A clashing sound was heard, however she didn't feel any pain from it. Opening her eyes slowly, she saw Naruto in front of her. Damn it, Neptune, be more aware of your surroundings. A feeling of relief came over her as she heard him say that. That feeling, however, didn't stay for long when she saw a crimson liquid drip down next to her. Get back and think of a plan with Compa. I won't be able to hold back this guy's attack much longer. As if to affirm his statement, the kunai he was using to hold back the enemy's sword started to crack. Then Naruto. Neptune shouted out, only to see him look back at her smiling. Don't worry, this much is nothing. Naruto struggled to keep himself upright. Seeing her not able to move, Naruto couldn't help but think back to his first ever mission outside Konoha. Forcing more strength to his hands, he pushed with all he had to force the sword back, but caused his two kunai to break. Using the small time he made, he grabbed Neptune and pushed her away. "Crap, this ain't good," Naruto mumbled as he turned around to see the monster ready a second strike. "Naruto." Both Kampa and Neptune shouted as the sword struck down and hit him across his chest, launching him back next to the two. "Off, damn, this hurts." Looking next to him, he saw Kampa and Neptune looking over him. "Oi, don't mind me, take care of the boss, then look after me," directing their attention towards the monster that was waving around the sword proudly. "Unforgivable," Neptune said as she felt a great rage fill her. Her eyes fixated on the monster as she gripped her weapon tighter. "I won't forgive you." Neptune shouted as she suddenly started to glow a bright white before it engulfed her completely. When the light died down, standing in her place was a taller purple-haired girl. Her hair was down in a twin braid which reached down to her legs. As for her clothes, they were some kind of skin-tight black leotard with purple colorings around her arm. On her back were what looked like glass wings, and she held a long black sword. "You're going down now," the new figure said as she rushed at the monster and delivered a slash which knocked the monster back a couple of feet. "Don't think I'm done yet." She slashed the monster 3 more times, each time knocking the monster back further and further. "Take this." Pulling out a gun, she flew back and started using a barrage of fire bullets. Surprisingly, the monster started to rush through the barrage of bullets straight towards Neptune, who was still firing. Right when it was about to reach her, a large burst of energy slammed into it, causing it to trip and fall over. "Don't worry, Neptune. I'm here too and I want to help," Kampa said with her syringe pointing at the monster. Nodding at Kampa, Neptune held her sword in an overhead position. "It's over." Jumping high into the air, she came down hard, slashing the fallen monster in half. "We did it," Kampa shouted before falling down onto her butt. "That was really tiring." "It was." Naruto. Remembering their third-party member, Neptune flew over to the blonde, only to see he was now sitting up with his wound almost fully closed. "Heh, I see you two defeated the boss." In a strained voice he continued, "Next time though I would wish you were a bit more observant and careful." "Naruto." The two shouted as they jumped at him, hugging him, having him collapse back onto the floor. "Ah, I'm not fully healed yet, so please be careful," Naruto said as he tried to keep his wound from opening even more. "By the way, is that you, Neptune?" "What are you talking about? Of course it's me," Neptune states as if it was the most sensible thing ever. "All that happened was that I changed my clothes a bit." "You seriously can't think that's the only thing that changed, right?" Sitting up, he pushed the two away. "Well, at least I know you two can handle these kinds of situations better." He tried to stand up only to have Kampa fussing over him. "No, you can't stand up yet, Mr. Star, your wound hasn't fully closed yet, so if you move right now it's bound to open up again. Also, as your nurse it is my duty to make sure nothing bad happens." Smiling at her words, Naruto couldn't help but feel a bit happy. "Now sit still as I put these bandages on you." Hearing the word bandage, Neptune took a step back. "Are you sure he needs those bandages?" "Bandages, Nep, and yes he does, I mean look at him." Without saying anything, Kampa started to wrap Naruto up. "Kampa, stop, I don't think you're supposed to wrap me up that much. Compare, the bandages are too tight, can't breathe." Everything started to go black for Naruto before Neptune stepped in and cut him free. "I think he has enough bandages covering him." "Aw, Nep, it's not nice to interrupt someone when they're treating someone." "That's not treating someone," Naruto whimpered out as he crawled away from Kampa. "I think we should now worry about what you guys took care of," Naruto said, pointing to what the monster had left. "Looks like it left an item on the floor." "Oh, you're right." Flying towards the item, Neptune picked up Neptune's key fragment. "Wonder what this item does." Returning back to the two, a white surrounded her before she turned back into the form she was always in. "How does she do that? One minute she's a little girl, the next she's a tall babe with boobs." "It's because I'm awesome." Neptune started only to stop moving for a bit and look around. "Neptune, can you hear me?" Naruto heard a voice say, but couldn't see anyone nearby. "Oh Histy, haven't heard from you in a while, what's up?" "Histy? Nep, who are you talking to?" Nobody is here except for you, me and Mr. Star," Naruto shouted out as soon as Kampa said her part. A confused look now came onto Neptune's face. "You can't hear her? Histy, can you talk to Compare too?" "I apologize, but at this time you are the only one I can speak with. Please pass my words to your friend when I am through. Also, I do not think I am comfortable with the name History," the voice said again, making Naruto a bit annoyed. "She's not the only one that can hear ya, History," Naruto said, causing two other party members to look at him surprised. "Why, you can hear me?" the voice asked, shocked. "Yeah, I'm guessing that normal people can't hear you, but then again I'm not exactly normal." Gathering energy he felt when he first entered this world, this time he let it fill his body before he too was covered in a white light. "You know, I should have probably done this earlier, but I didn't think it was possible until I saw Neptune do it," a deeper voice said, causing the party to look carefully as the light died down. Standing where Naruto used to be was a slightly taller man in black clothing, similar to what Neptune was wearing before, only he was showing less skin than she did. His hair had changed color from its blonde color to a light purple color, and his eyes were a darker blue color, with a strange power button symbol replacing his pupils. So, I guess this is where I got those boots that saved my life. Testing his new form out, Naruto did a few jumps and punches. My injuries are gone now too. Touching his chest, he felt no pain there anymore. What? Naruto heard history yell, causing him and Neptune to cover their ears. How is this happening? There should only be 4 goddesses and you're definitely not one of them. Don't ask me, all I did was find a source of energy and grab onto it so I could survive. Naruto stated as he ignored Neptune, who was poking him from every angle. I originally had another energy source, but I can't seem to access it ever since I entered this world. When we were falling to our death, I used a technique I learned of gathering energy, and it allowed me to get this energy and use it. This can't be happening, no one else should be able to share energy, History stated and kept repeating. Great Naruto, you broke History, what are we going to do now? I don't know, you seem to know her better, Naruto stated as he let the power he was using go. Yo History, can we get talking about why you're contacting Neptune? As the last bit of power left his body, he reverted back to his original state. We'll discuss this later then at a better time. But for now, the reason why I am contacting you Neptune and now you too Naruto is that you have found a really important item just now. That boss monster you fought had a key fragment which is vital in releasing me. There are 3 more fragments, 1 on each landmass. Once all are collected you can release me. So why should we do this? I mean, I don't know you that well, and what would I gain from helping you? It is normal to feel that way, however, you two are my last hope and only hope, please save me. So we're going to have to look on the different landmasses I'm not sure if you already know History, but I'm only joining this party because it was in my best interest to travel and find a way back to my world. Yes, I know about that, however it is very vital that I am rescued as all of GAM industry relies on me. So if we save you it'll be like saving everyone. That's much better than the idea of working that hard and only saving one person, Neptune stated, causing Naruto and History to sweat drop. Just going on a whim, if you're that important, does this mean you can help me? Yes, I am the world's everything and the world is mine. By saving me I'll be able to help you gather information on a way to travel back to your world. It is not 100% that I will be able to, but it is probably better than searching by yourself. So I will either way. I was going to help you out, even if Neptune over there didn't agree. Hey, I would have totally agreed to rescue History, I mean she's totally the main quest line right now. Also, didn't you hear, if we save her we save the whole world. Neptune shouted out, pumping her fist in the air. So do you have anything else that can pump me up for this journey some more? Well, if I could I would have added 1,000,000 credits to your account, but sadly that is beyond my control. Also, would you please stop referring to me as History, my name is History. Oh, sorry about that History, I should have asked for your name first, instead of using Neptune's nickname for you. I can know how you feel, too though. No can do History is History, and that will stay, just like how Naruto over there is Leroy, Star, and Fishbeast. Damn it Neptune, it means Maelstrom. Anyway History, don't worry, we'll journey to the other 3 landmasses and get these key fragments and rescue you. I wish you 3 luck. History said before she cut the communication. Now then we should probably get back to Kampa's house and rest up. That was probably the most sensible thing I've heard you say all day, Naruto started only to stop when he heard Kampa start crying. Nep, Mr. Star, why are you so excited? I can't hear anything, I don't hear this person's voice, what are you two talking about? I want to be included too Nep, Mr. Star, tears started to drip down her eyes as she couldn't hold it in anymore. Oops. I'm so sorry Kampa. Let's go have something to eat and I'll talk to you about it for hours and hours and hours. Neptune reacted quickly, causing the tears to slowly stop falling. That's a good girl, now let's get out of this dungeon and head home. Ugh, so tired, Naruto stated as he fell to one knee, that energy really takes a lot of me. Really, I feel perfectly fine after using it, Neptune said jovially, it's kind of an op ability now that I think about it. Let's hurry up and head home guys, I'm sure that even with that change, both of you still have some injuries, so I need to treat them. Kampa stated, which caused both Naruto and Neptune to freeze. There's no rush, right Neptune? Right, I mean we first have to get food and such, and then go shopping and everything. Why do I feel like you two are avoiding something? It's just your imagination Kampa, the two said at the same time, thinking of the horrors that happened when Kampa tried to treat them. Oh Neptune, I think I saw a sweet store on the way to the dungeon, how about we go there? Yeah, good idea. With that the two started racing away from Kampa. Wait for me you two. Kampa, having a late start, lagged behind the two. I'm the best main character ever. Neptune could be heard saying as she marched in front of her 2 party members. I've only been here for a few hours and I've already a quarter of the way finished with our main objective. I thought you said your main object was to defeat the final boss and therefore stop all the monsters. Oh, that objective, well, I'm pretty sure we'll end up meeting the final boss along the way after all, that's how games usually work. Neptune, how does your head work? What do you mean how does your head work? It's common knowledge these kind of things, right Compa? Well, I wouldn't say common knowledge, but it is pretty reasonable. You know what, I'm just going to go find something to eat, it'll probably give me some much relieved stress relief if I think about something other than your common knowledge. Aw, but we're on a roll right now, we can't break the streak we're on right now. I mean look, we already have the first key fragment, so we should head to the next landmass and grab the next one. You say that, but hasn't your stomach been growling for a while now? Yeah it has. What does that mean? It means you're hungry. I'm pretty sure Compa is also hungry from that last romp of Dogus and weird spider monster thing. Receiving an affirmative from Compa, he continued, if we're hungry we won't function 100%, if we don't function 100% we're bound to be beaten much easier. Pulling out a frog pouch he started tossing it up, sides. I'm pretty sure we can afford quite a feast with what we made. Do you know where to go then? Neptune asked, causing Naruto to stop. I mean you're new here too, so I wouldn't expect you to know any good places to eat. Regaining his bearings, Naruto shifted his face upward and took a few sniffs. The air wasn't as fresh as Konoha and had a myriad of smells he had never smelled before, but there was a scent that stuck out. I believe we should head this way. Making his way through the busy streets of Planetpune, he couldn't help but smile. Hey, you just sniff the air like some kind of dog. Oh, do you have some kind of super sniffer dog trait that only special characters have? Neptune tried sniffing the air only to frown. You must have some kind of smell trait, cause I don't smell anything here. Well, his nose is leading him to the food district area, so at least we know it's working well, Compa stated as she walked next to Neptune. I wonder which type of restaurant he'll choose. Just as she finished, they saw Naruto stop in front of a small shack-like stall. It looked like it could seat a few people and had a few cloth flaps out in front, obscuring the view of the stall. This is where we should eat, Naruto says before going on inside and taking a seat. Well, nothing ventured, nothing gained, at least that's what my grandpa always used to say. Compa then headed inside, followed by an uncertain Neptune. I'll have one miso and one shoyu ramen, they heard Naruto say, and an affirmative that followed. Ramen, well ramen is a good too. I think I'll have a shoyu ramen. Not knowing what to choose, Neptune just stared at the menu before closing her eyes and pointing at a random item. I'll choose this one. Neptune shouted and stared at what she chose. Tonkatsu ramen, what's in it? Oh, it's ramen with broth made from usually boiling pork bones for half a day. Why would you boil bones like that? It adds great flavor, Neptune, now just try eating it before saying anything else, Naruto said as two bowls were placed in front of him. Thanks, Naruto told the owner before taking one sip of the soup. It's been so long since I've had ramen, tears forming in his eyes, Naruto started to wolf down the shoyu ramen set in front of him. Well, how does he eat like that and not spill anything? Neptune stared at him in shock only to shake her head. Well, it must be some good stuff if he's wolfing it down like that. It is really good, Nep. Looking over at Compa, Neptune was shocked to see that Compa had already eaten most of her ramen. I didn't know about this place, and if Mr. Star never lead us here, I would have never found out about this delicious place. Seeing that her order had come out, Neptune picked up the chopsticks and took a bite. Oh, it's pretty delicious. Yup, for me ramen is the food of the gods, although I haven't been able to eat any for the past few days. Shivering from remembering all the bugs he had to eat, Naruto tried to think about other things. So, after eating this, where should we head to next? We should go to the other landmasses immediately. There's no need to rush, Nep, Compa stated. Planeptune is still threatened by monsters. We can't just leave the townspeople like this. But well, fine, after we're done eating let's go clobber some monsters. We're just waiting on you, then Neptune, looking quickly over to the other two members of her party. Neptune couldn't help but double take as she saw the empty bowls in front of the two. But how? Don't worry about that, Neptune, for now I'll go out and find out any more places we can go to lower the monster population. Oh, like quest boards and such. Stop comparing everything to a game. But I didn't even mention where I knew about this from. You were going to say it was common knowledge or something about a game, Naruto stated as he pulled out his frog wallet and paid the amount due. So where would I find this quest board, Compa? Oh, did you give up already, Mr. Star? If I don't fight it, it'll end up being less painful for me in the end, Naruto stated as he started noting where Compa stated to go. Alright, I'll be back in a few minutes, leaving the two by themselves, and he went to find the quest board. So Evil Cave, huh? How generic can they get when naming these places? The party was situated in front of a cave. Yeah, this was the only quest that was available. Sigh, I really don't like how this place handles things. Entering the cave, Naruto was impressed at how there was light in the cave. Looking around, he saw there were a bunch of crystals that seemed to giving off an ambient light that lit up the cave. Oh, our first dungeon crawl through a cave, this ought be really interesting, Neptune shouted as she ran past Naruto and continued running before stopping suddenly. Oh yeah, since this is a cave we ought be really careful, no telling what might happen if we don't have our guard up. Already seeing that a person ran into Neptune, Naruto didn't react much, but Kampa showed more concern. Nep, are you okay? You should be careful too, or you might fall onto some spikes and game over. Not being overly worried, Kampa walked over to Neptune's side and saw another person lying next to Neptune. No, I ran into something. Wait, no again, something ran into me. Neptune quickly stood up and looked at the offender. I'll watch it, girl. This isn't the place for kindergartners to have recess. The person in question, a long brown-haired girl in a black one-piece covered over with a blue coat, stared up at them from the ground. Neptune, taking offense to that, immediately responded back, kindergartners? Look who's talking. Who are you? Do you live in this icky cave? Do I look like a ragged bum to you? I'm here to eliminate the monsters, as requested by the Basilicum. Who are you? We're here because our party member over there picked up the quest to get rid of the monsters in this cave. So we're here for the same reason. My name is Neptune and those two over there are Kampa and Leroy Jenkins. Leroy Jenkins? You mean that famous guy who got his whole party killed from rushing in and ignoring the plan? It's Naruto. Is it that hard to not call someone by a nickname? Well, when you do something like a Leroy, I'm going to call you a Leroy. Enough, Kampa, I guess it's your turn. Pointing her out, Kampa jumped a bit before starting. Hello. I enjoy arts and crafts, and I'm good at math. I know I don't look it, but it's something I'm quite proud of. Oh then, Kampa, you are now in charge of our item inventory and accounting. Ignoring the whine that came from Kampa, Neptune continued. Anyway, why not help us conquer this dungeon? What? Well, I guess the more help I get the easier it'll be for me. Fine, we'll team up, but no, you're joining me. Hey, I'm pretty sure I got first dibs on the quest, so you can't just muscle your way in here and take it. Don't worry, Jenkins, didn't you hear what she said? Iffy said she'll join our party. You do know she was saying something else, right? Naruto asked, only to be ignored like always. Whatever. Don't call me Iffy. That's not my name, if stated only to receive a pat on the back from Naruto. I don't think you'll ever hear your name said normally ever again, giving Naruto a disbelieving look. Naruto could only smile half-heartedly. I haven't heard my name said normally in quite some time. You're joking, right? Mr. Star, what are you talking to her about? Nothing, Kampa, nothing to worry about. Oh okay, well now at least we really look like a party. We'll be together forever. It's our pleasure to have you with us. Yeah, okay, if waved off as her mind was preoccupied with other matters. Wait, what? Forever? No, just for now. This dungeon. Easy. We're already a party, so you can't get away from us, even if you try. Neptune put her hands on her side, putting up a haughty pose. Abandoning your party is against the rules of this world. You got that, Missy? You no, but it doesn't matter, if started panicking as she backed away. Oh no, you're not getting away, you're not leaving me with these two psychos. Naruto stated as he latched onto her arm. What have I gotten myself into? Now don't get too chummy, you two, we have to go and find the boss of this dungeon and beat it. Neptune stated as she came in between the two and started pulling them deeper into the dungeon. Wait, Neptune, stop, you're not watching where you're going. Naruto started, only for Neptune to trip and drag the two with her. Ugh, why Neptune? Please don't tell me she's always like this. If started, only to see Neptune stand up and start running, only to trip again. This isn't going to end well for me. A ringing sound soon filled the cave and it chilled Naruto. Kampa, did you just? Naruto started as he turned around to see Kampa holding her bell. Well, before we entered this cave, Nep told me to ring the bell after we made it a good distance into the cave. I thought it was the right time to ring the bell. Kampa stated happily. God damn it, Neptune. Picking himself up, Naruto pulled out a few kunai and tossed them up into the air at incoming shadows. Hearing a couple of shrieks, he smiled before readying himself. I'd ready yourself if that bell Kampa has seems to cause the monsters to be attracted to our location. You don't get much rest with these two, do you? With a flick of her arms, two katars formed over her hands. Well, this is what we came here to do anyway, isn't it? Spinning, she slashed two dogus that had closed in on their location. At least those two can handle themselves. Looking over at Kampa and Neptune, they could be seen shooting down bats that came down their way. Over there, Naruto pointed at a couple more bats heading towards them from above. Grinning, Naruto gave a look to if returned. Here you go, holding his hands banded together, if ran towards him and jumped onto his hands. Alley-oop. Using most of his strength, Naruto tossed if up into the air. Take this. Piercing two bats on the way up, if spun around to slash a few more before landing next to Naruto. Well, that was fun. Seeing Naruto's hand blur, if was shocked only to see him toss a kunai to a target behind her. You got most of the ones in the air, but there are still a couple on the ground, walking past if he picked up the kunai he had just thrown. I think that was the last one on our side. Looking over at Neptune, he could hear her yelling something about victory and easy EXP, but decided to ignore it. We should probably go catch up to those two, they're already running deeper into the cave. What are those two thinking? Fun and adventure from what I've gathered, chuckling a bit Naruto continued, glad to have someone who doesn't act like Neptune or Kampa for a change, makes it so much less stressful. You've had it tough, haven't you? I snapped. In the first dungeon we went in together. She's our party leader. I found out that not caring too much will lead to me not getting bewildered more. Oh crap, I should probably tell the rest of them to wait up for me. I have a special gadget here that helps me find treasure here in dungeons. Seeing Naruto's confused look, she continued, well, sometimes chests are hidden and can't be found normally, but with this device, I can find all those hidden chests. Oh cool, what do you usually find in those chests that you find then? Oh, keychains and stuff. Hey, don't look at me like that, some of those items go for top dollar in the right auctions. Hey guys, we found the boss monster in this cave. Neptune's voice could be heard echoing through the cave. Hey, it's just standing there probably waiting for us to engage it. Ah, it's moving. Hey, that hurts. Ow ow ow. Holding his head, Naruto sighed. God damn it, she always does stupid stunts like this. Naruto grabbed his hand and started to run. If we hurry we might be able to stop her from killing herself. Ah, Nep, it's shooting laser beams everywhere. And Kampa, after a few turns the two arrived to see Kampa and a transformed Neptune, battling what looked to be an oversized worm with a whole bunch of teeth. Naruto, if glad to see you two could finally make it, Neptune said, causing Naruto to grin and to stare at her. It'll probably be easier if you grab its attention and have the rest of us focus on attacking it. Just as she said that, she flew off towards the side to avoid a flurry of laser beams that was shot in her direction. Nice to see that this Neptune is much better at planning things than the other one, Naruto stated as he stepped away from If. You should probably get yourself together now, If. We have a battle to get to. Once he said that a bright light overtook him and he emerged in his HTT form. Alright, here I go. Using his new form's boosted power, Naruto rushed forward towards the worm. Just a few feet from the worm, Naruto jumped over it and landed behind the worm. Take this. In a fluid motion he delivered 2 slashes at the back of the worm. Screeching out in fury, the worm turned around to retaliate and lunged forward at Naruto to land a bite on him. Not happening. Leaning to the side, Naruto avoided the bite and countered by landing an uppercut. Ha, weak, you're weak. Naruto shouted out. Whoa, Mr. Star is suddenly acting very cocky, Kampa stated as she shot a few rounds at the worm. Finally breaking out of her shock, If pulled out her own gun and started firing at the worm from a safe distance. So the purple-haired chick is Neptune, right? Receiving a nod from Kampa, she continued, and that new guy over there is Naruto. How come they're acting differently? Well, I don't know about Naruto, but Nep seems to be more serious when she's in that form. What do they both have multiple personality disorder? She was brought out of her musing when she heard Naruto start laughing again. Ekmon, give me some more fun. Looking at the worm in boredom, he then stabbed the sword he was carrying into the ground before crossing his hands over his chest. Here, I'll give you chance, hit me with your best attack, I won't move from this spot. Responding to the taunt, the worm screeched and rushed towards the smirking Naruto, only to be knocked away by an attack to its side. An annoyed expression came onto his face as he looked at the interloper. Neptune, why did you interfere? What, are you crazy? An attack like that might not kill, but can seriously damage you. Landing next to Naruto, she looked at him in the eye. I won't allow any one of my party members to be hurt again. Still I wouldn't have gotten hurt. As if to prove his point, he uncrossed his hands and revealed the pistol he had been concealing. Burst shot, pointed at the worm. A concentrated burst of energy was fired at the worm, knocking it back even further. Even if you would have been fine, you shouldn't have scared me like that. That's right, Mr. Star, we're a party and parties take care of their own. That was a pretty ass move you pulled there. The two other party members made their way over to the two HTT members. And here I thought you would be the sensible one in the group. Don't get me wrong, I'm still more responsible than those two, getting an annoyed shout from both Kampa and Neptune, but this form seems to make me a bit cockier. Tossing the gun he was holding up into the air, it disappeared. We should probably take care of that worm over there before talking like this though. Pulling out the sword he had stabbed into the ground, he gave Neptune a nod. Agreed, Kampa, if Naruto and I will finish it off now. Returning Naruto's nod, the two stood next to each other, Naruto on the right and Neptune on his left. Combination attack. The two rushed forward towards the worm that had now gotten up. In a screech, the worm started firing a barrage of lasers. The two bounded towards the worm, weaving through the laser barrage. Flash slash. Naruto shouted as the two disappeared in a flash of purple and appeared behind the worm. For a second nothing happened, then thin lines started to appear on the monster. Easy. Indeed it was. When she finished, the worm gave a final death cry before dissipating into blue particles. Wow, that was amazing, you two. Kampa said, rushing over to the two. When did you two come up with an attack like that? I kind of want to know that too. Well, it was something that appeared on the spur of the moment, Neptune said sheepishly. I just followed and matched her, Naruto stated. It was much easier than dealing with the other Neptune on a regular basis. With that said, light appeared around him, and he changed back. Well, that was weird. That is weird, your personality changes dramatically when you change forms. In a familiar light show, Neptune reverted back to her childish form. That form of yours is no fun, acting all cocky is not something you should be doing, Naruto. Ha, well, it can't be helped, just like how you don't look like an elementary school kid in your transformed state. I change personalities, it seems also you have a massive change in personality as well, so you can't complain. But it matches me cause my appearance changes, and I get huge boobs too. Reaching for her own boobs, she started mashing them together. See, I don't have any boobs here, so I can't act mature like that other me. Ah, you just admitted to acting immature. Reaching over, he also smacked Neptune on the head. Also, will you stop acting like an idiot already? Rubbing her head, she had fake tears start falling from her eyes. Hey, I'm the main character, you can't just attack me like that. And act like a main character is supposed to act. If a main character is anything like leader, then you need charisma and will to never give up. Hey, I have plenty of that. Look at the party I've already assembled. I'm only in this party temporarily. See if he is agreeing with the party that I made. You did hear her correctly, right? And I totally have inner strength. I mean, I totally was able to finish those 5 puddings you said was too much for me, patting her stomach in accomplishment. You're just going to keep on replying with nonsensible remarks until I stop, aren't you? Looking at the smile on her face that threatened to reach past her nose. Fine, let's just get out of this cave first. Haha, I win. Neptune started jumping up and down. See, compa, I'm definitely party leader material. Yeah, you are, Nep. I feel like I should be bothered more by this, if stated only to sweat drop when she saw Naruto bent over. There is no winning against an idiot. Patting Naruto on the back, she helped him and started leading him out of the cave. So basically, you 3 are looking for key fragments for this Histy person. Ding dong. Histy's sealed away somewhere in this world. She's like one of those secret optional characters. The different fragments are guarded by monsters. So, the source is really whoever ordered the fragments to be guarded. That Histy character must have something to do with it, too. Saving the world, It could be a big fib. Oh, Iffy, you're beyond keen. How can you possibly be so observant at such a tender, young age? DCH, it's simple logic. If this is all true, however, leaving it to you two will spell doom for all humanity. Even with Naruto helping you, I fear that one right cannot be 2 wrongs. I try, but it's not all that bad, as he said that he saw Kompa this time trip over something. Even when things happen, leaving the 2, he made his way over to Kompa, who was sniffling over the scrape she had on her knee. No choice. I'll help. You're traveling, right? You'll need someone with you who's been to a lot of different lands. About those fragments, if they're guarded by monsters, it might be pretty easy to find them after all. Perking up, Kompa responded, really? Then I guess we'll save Histy in no time. Basilicums around the world have been researching monsters. I think they'll have a good idea where they spawn. So, speaking of what's a basilicum again? Naruto swore he could see a bunch of question marks floating above Neptune's head as she asked that. I'm apparently an amnesiac, so I need you to explain stuff to me in a manner convenient for the players to understand. Neptune, stop talking as if you're talking to an audience. Naruto shouted out on reflex. Before Naruto could continue, Kompa stepped in. Be patient with her, Miss If. She somehow lost all her memory when she landed from the sky with Mr. Star over there, which is why I call him Mr. Star. It's Naruto. Now where was I? Oh yay, basilicums are holy organizations run by those who serve the goddesses. There are 2 parts to a basilicum. The sanctuary where goddesses are cared for, and parliament for political activities. Not able to comprehend it, Neptune stopped Kompa. Whoa, stop. Why not let the people at the basilicum explain it? We're heading there anyway. To ask about monsters. But we don't need to do that until we got another landmass. Well, not really, Kompa, we'll need a permit from the basilicum to travel anywhere. They manage the sky harbors, too. Oh, I see. Then we'll continue this when we reach the basilicum, okay Nep. I say we do it tomorrow, Naruto suggested as he pointed upward. I mean, look at the sky, the sun's setting, and I'm pretty sure it's going to get dark soon. Aw man, I wanted to advance the storyline, stupid author getting lazy and not wanting to add more explanations. Neptune started making Naruto stare at her blankly, but wait, that means we can have a sleepover. We can stay up all night talking about girl stuff, and, Neptune continued on talking to Kompa, who was listening diligently. Yeah, no. I don't care what you guys do, but I'm going to get my sleep. Hey, if do you know a good place to get a good night's sleep? There's a inn nearby the cave we just conquered. I don't know why the people built a town near a cave dungeon, but at least it makes it easier to get some rest. Sounds good. Looking back he could see Neptune still going on and on. Hey you two, we're heading to the town nearby, let's get moving, wailing after if he didn't bother checking if the two were following. Ah wait, I still haven't listed off all the activities we'll be doing. Neptune shouted as she chased after the other two party members with Compa trailing behind. Sleepover. Sleepover. Neptune shouted over and over as the party could be seen inside an inn. Sleepover, Compa repeated in an equally jovial tone as Neptune. Yeah, I'd like to get 2 rooms please, Naruto started. Ignore what he just said, in reality we just need 1 room and 4 beds. Oh, do you have those small refrigerators, TVs, and mini bar ga? As I was saying, Naruto said, pushing Neptune down, 2 rooms, 1 for me and the rest for the girls. Putting a bit more force into keeping Neptune down, Naruto started to struggle. Oh sorry, but we don't have more than 1 room available right now. Hearing that, Naruto loosened his grip on Neptune and went slack-jawed. But, ooh off. Taking her chance, Neptune jumped up, forcing Naruto to fall backwards. We'll take that room pronto. Neptune shouted. Like hell we will. This time if shouted out, we can't just share a room with a guy, I mean don't you have any sense of modesty? Why would we need it? It's not like Naruto over there can do anything to us. Their words hurt Neptune. Standing up, Naruto held his head in his hand. Would you happen to know of any other inns nearby that have any vacancies? The innkeeper shook her head. No, we're the only inn in this area. If you want you could try to get to the next town, but you probably wouldn't make it there before nightfall. So give us that room you have for us, and we can get ready for adventuring tomorrow. Neptune, if you so dare. Compa now. Pia. Feeling a sharp prick on his back, Naruto turned around to see Compa stabbing a giant syringe with a pinkish liquid half gone. What did you do? Oh, feeling sluggish, Naruto drawled on. Ooh, you did Newt. Naruto managed to get out before he collapsed onto the floor face first. Did you just trank Naruto? If quickly made her way over to the downed Naruto and put 2 fingers on his neck. His pulse is still pretty strong, but that was pretty reckless of you too, Dao. Feeling a pricking sensation on her neck, If turned around to see a grinning Neptune and Compa. Why? Well, Iffy, I figured you'd still be against the whole rooming situation, so we tranked you too. Doing this for the world, If repeated slower each time before she fell on top of Naruto, passed out. So yeah, can you show us where the rooms are? Neptune asked as she grabbed one of Naruto and If's legs. I'd really like to get everything ready for the sleepover preparations done before they wake up. Very well, come right this way. Not even bothered, the inn attendant lead the 2+2 unconscious to the stairs. We'll have to go upstairs. Ugh, Neptune, when Naruto mumbled, half awake. Okay, here we go. Neptune shouted, rushing up the stairs recklessly, causing Naruto and If head to bounce against the stairs, knocking him out again. Compa, did you hear anything? Shaking her head sideways, she responded, no. Oh look Nep, they have some interesting pictures on the walls. Oh really, let me look. Neptune shouted, letting the 2 objects in her hand go to rush over to Compa's side. Nep, what's that thumping sound? Huh, oh crap Naruto, If. Well, at least you guys are unconscious and can't feel that. Grinning sheepishly, Neptune went back down the stairs and picked the 2 up by the leg again. Well, we should probably get to the room, that way we have more time to prepare. What are we preparing for, Nep? The night of games. Oh goody, that sounds fun. It will be really fun, Compa, really fun. Even while unconscious, Naruto and If shuddered. Well, this can't be good. Coming to from the darkness of being unconscious, Naruto groaned before opening his eyes, which he began to regret. Oh, you're finally awake. If he woke up a while ago, so we started the fun without you. Adjusting to the light, his vision was blurred for a bit, but started to get better until he saw his 3 party members in front of him, playing Twister, in very compromising poses. Taking one glance at If, he saw tears streaming down her fully blushing face before closing his eyes again. Is it too late to say that I'm still passed out? Feeling something pulling his arm, he tried to resist, only to underestimate the strength that the person had, and rolled off the bed onto the 3. Neptune, I swear you are going to be the death of me. Naruto's voice came out a bit muffled. Opening his eyes, he found out the reason his voice was muffled was because he had fallen onto Neptune's chest. Ah, Naruto Eki. Neptune blushed a bit as Naruto pushed himself backwards, only to slip and land back on Neptune. Ah, could it be that your flag has been raised and your path has been opened up? Flag, what the hell are you talking about? Naruto tried to push himself up again, only for Neptune to wrap her arms around his head. Don't worry Naruto, I'll shower you with gifts, go out on dates with you, and then when I conquered your heart, we'll go to a love hotel and… Stop. If quickly pulled Naruto off of Neptune and then covered Neptune's mouth. If you went any further then that, the rating would have went up to an M rating. What the hell is going on? Oh, that's right, we wouldn't want the game to change ratings. Neptune gave a pensive look before putting on a frown, although I should be able to still win over Naruto's heart and then we'll be a lovey-dovey couple. The day I become your couple is when you're the goddess, Naruto said, only to shiver from a sudden feeling of dread. Also, Neptune, wouldn't Naruto be the main character if this was a dating sim, since there are 3 girls and 1 guy? Also, if you were the main character, wouldn't you have to spend tons of money on getting gifts to court him? If started causing Neptune to stay motionless for a bit before a look of surprise came over her face. But I'm the main character. Well then maybe this game doesn't have a dating sim genre in it then. If I thought you were a sensible one. Moving over to Naruto, she whispered, just playing along with her. I figured that if we play along with her, we won't have to sit through much of her nonsense. But it's not nonsense. Ah. Naruto and If shouted out as Neptune burst in between them, breaking the two apart. So anyway, if I can't get to courting Naruto right now, I guess I'll have to have the Eki scene right now with Kampa and Iffy. In a flurry of hands and limbs, Naruto could only watch horrified and shocked as Kampa and If were both semi-stripped before they resisted. Neptune, what are you doing? If asked as she used her hands to cover her chest and crouched down to display less skin. You can't just strip your party members like this. Nep, is this revenge for the bandages I put you in? Kampa, more relaxed than If but still covered herself, trying to put back on the half taken off clothes. Ah, Nep, stop that. You can't stop me now, If, Kampa. Dodging a swipe from If, Neptune stepped back and stood up. Now you two be nice and take off your clothes so I can put these on you. Accessing a temporary hammer space, she revealed 2 red bunny suits. Now, put these on, you. Having seen enough, Naruto walked over to Neptune and slapped her on the back of the head. That's enough, Neptune. Oh crap, Naruto's entered his no more bullshit mode. A twitch formed on Naruto's face before his fist met her head again. Ow, stop that. Neptune, why can't you act like a normal person? I would have much less stress than I do right now. Well, saying this, his hand found its way onto her head. You know, if you're the supposed leader, you're not supposed to cause your charges any problems. Squeezing with a hand that grasped her skull, he continued. Now Neptune, it's getting pretty late, so I think Kampa and If would enjoy a good night's rest. My head. Neptune squeaked out while flailing her arms. Trying to think of some way to get free, Neptune suddenly stopped and grinned, but think about how hot those two would look in those bunny costumes. Not feeling any relief, Neptune pushed harder. Haven't you ever had any fantasies of bunny girls serving your every need? And think about it, those two have great bodies, especially Kampa. Feeling no more pressure on her skull, Neptune grinned. Glad you can see it my way. Now where are those costumes? Feeling pure rage emanating behind her, Neptune shakily turned around to see a pissed off If looking down at her. Neptune, If only needed to say Neptune's name to cause Neptune to start sweating. I think it's time that we held a penalty game for you. Nep, that wasn't very nice, you know. That too, Kampa. A look of betrayal came onto her face. Well, you'll never take me alive. Neptune shouted as she jumped up and made for the door. Haha, with my superior speed I'll be out of here and long gone. Hey, why aren't I moving forward? Looking behind her, she saw Naruto holding onto her hood, forcing her not to move forward. Mercy. I have none to give. Nepu. In a defeated shout, Neptune was thrown back towards Kampa and If. Hearing Neptune's distressed cries, Naruto surprisingly couldn't help but not feel any regret. I'm going to sleep now, you girls do whatever you girls do. So you girls decided as punishment she has to wear that? Naruto asked as the group made their way to the Neptune's basilicum. Yeah, we figured since she was so gung-ho on making us wear the costume we'd make her wear part of it, well, the bunny ears. We can't be seen with a bunny girl dressed, Neptune, people would think we were one of those people. Still, it doesn't feel like a punishment. Naruto pointed to Neptune, who was happily skipping in front of the group. I mean, look at her. Well, if you have a better idea then she's all yours. We have it tough, don't we? At least with 2 of us we can tone down her crazy. Naruto looked at her before sighing. Usually when someone says something like that, Naruto didn't even get to finish as Neptune rushed backwards towards him. Naruto. She shouted, and quicker than If could see, Neptune grabbed Naruto and started running towards an opening she had spotted ahead. I blame you If. Naruto's voice got noticeably quieter as he was dragged further and further away. Deciding to find out what got her so excited, Naruto kept up with Neptune's pace and looked ahead. In the clearing they had reached, he saw a triangular building with a few spires around it. It was a pretty tall and was decorated in a multitude of bright blue, gold, and other colors. Look Naruto, it's really big and towering and pretty and stuff. Neptune shouted, waving her arms up and down, which also made Naruto's arm wave. But why is this place all deserted and stuff? A place like this should have lots of people. Hiding from monsters, Naruto could hear If say as she slowly approached the two with Kampa. Neptune seems more ravaged by them compared to the other lands. Taking a look at her phone, If continued, anyway, go talk to the basilicum staff. They'll communicate with a different one and we'll be on our way. Okay, then I'll be back in a jiffy. saying that she started on her way to enter the building, all the while dragging Naruto behind her. I'll make sure she doesn't do anything stupid, I guess. Seeing him resign to his fate, both Kampa and If waved at him. Alright, I'll stay out here to keep Kampa company. Have fun, Nep, Mr. Star. Entering the building, Neptune let go of Naruto's arm and walked forward. Excuse me, I want to go to other landmasses. Is that okay? Not even looking around, she had started shouting out and was now waiting for a response. Conveniently, a person wearing robes appeared in front of them. Ah, hello. Applying for teleportation. Could you give us your reason and how long you will be traveling for? Putting a finger to her cheek, Neptune tilted her head sideways a bit and started. How long? I dunno. Reason to defeat monsters. I want to travel the world and fight bad guys. Ugh, damn it, Neptune. Facepalming Naruto sighed and tried to think of something to help their situation. To his surprise though, the man didn't seem shocked, admirable for one so young. Okay, so long-term salvage areas attacked by monsters. There. The man said, filling out something on a piece of paper, or shall I word it in a more vague way? Volunteer work. That'd look better on your resume. Resume? I don't think we need worry about that. Naruto started getting the attention of the man helping them. Oh, are you with this little girl? If so, then can you please fill out your name here? Don't worry, I got this, Neptune said as she grabbed the pen that the man was handing out and quickly filled the form with everyone's name. Feeling a bit worried, Naruto looked over her shoulder and saw Kampa, If, and Neptune's name on the paper. What he didn't approve though was how Neptune started spelling his name. Damn it, Neptune, gimme that. Wrestling the pen out of her grasp, he shoved her to the side and crossed out the name that she was writing for him. I told you that my name means maelstrom, not fish paste. Finished writing, Naruto handed the pen back. Ah, thank you, everything seems to be in order, so you and your party should be able to use the teleportation now. Wait. This is my first time doing this, so I don't know anything about the basilicum. Can you tell me about it? The basilicum, novice, eh? Let me tell you a bit about our origins and give a small history lesson. Long ago, basilicums were created by CPU's console patron units you call goddesses. We assist them in governing this world. On the other hand, we perform missionary work to spread our beliefs. That's the gist of it. Did that help? No. Not particularly. Naruto promptly had the palm of his hand meet his face again. Before he could say anything about that, Neptune continued, I was expecting weird cult people here, but you guys seem normal enough. Well, it's different everywhere. Some basilicums may be construed as weird. I really shouldn't say such things, though. So there are weird ones. Nice. The people, too. Sure. Well, why not get back to your friends? You don't want them to wait too long, after all. Yeah, okay. Bye. Neptune promptly exited the building, leaving Naruto, who bowed to the man. Sorry about her, I don't know what goes on in that head of hers. I'm pretty sure she wasn't trying to be rude on purpose. Oh no, not at all, in fact I found it amusing, the man stated, surprising Naruto. Well, you should probably get back to her lest she cause some problems elsewhere. Bowing to the man again, Naruto quickly exited the building to catch up to Neptune. Once outside, Naruto saw Neptune and Kampa talking about something animatedly while If was staring at her cell phone screen. Oh, there you are, what took you, slowpoke? Neptune asked, making the other two focus their attention onto him. Me and Kampa were just talking and found out there is another cave nearby with another monster infestation, so we decided the party is going to clear another cave. Yup, I just received it on my device a few minutes ago on Dungeon Finder, it's really close by and the monsters are weak enough for us to push on through. Kampa stated, also there's a reward for it too, so we should hurry up and complete this dungeon before anyone else can. Putting her phone away, If looked a bit confused. I know I'm the newest part member, but shouldn't we get a move on and go somewhere else already? We can't ignore all the monsters left on Neptune. We gotta walk this path properly, you know. Joining her side, Kampa also ganged up on If. Yeah, slow and steady wins the race. Collecting key fragments is important, but we can't leave troubled people alone. So fine, we'll go clear this dungeon of yours and help keep the monster population down, it's not like we're in a rush right now. If agreed, and since Naruto's opinion is not important, hey. We'll make our way over to that dungeon and clear it for the people of Neptune. Why did I join this party again? Naruto asked himself as he solemnly walked alongside If. I don't know, maybe to save the world or some other thing. I guess, keeping up with the two other party members, the party soon made it to a familiar cave-like setting. Acting quickly, Naruto moved behind Kampa. Not this time, Naruto shouted as he stopped Kampa from ringing the bell she had somehow pulled out of nowhere. Ah, but why? It's always so fun to fight a huge mob of enemies. What part of getting overwhelmed by a lot of enemies is fun? Naruto took out a kunai, he threw it behind him. Oh, nice shot. Neptune said as she watched a Dogu get hit and disappear. If we fight these enemies one at a time it's much easier and there's no chance of having a swarm of dogus or bats chasing me. Ah, but if we fight a whole bunch of enemies at once it saves a whole bunch of time because they don't appear for quite a while, Neptune stated. Now every time we meet an enemy we have to ready up to a victory dance, then wait for the loading screen before we can continue on. Neptune, can we not have any of your bullshit in this dungeon? Taking out another kunai he tossed it past Neptune to hit another dogu which was sneaking up behind her. I just want to get this dungeon over with so we can get ready for teleportation. I have a feeling I won't find a way home here. Walking ahead of the party he soon disappeared from the girl's sights when he turned a corner. A way home, what does he mean by that? Oh yeah, you weren't here when we first created this party. Well, short version is that he's not from this world or something like that and he's traveling with us to find a way back home. Is he crazy? If asked only to stop her train of thought when she looked at Neptune, I mean, does he really believe he's not from this world? Maybe he has amnesia like you, Neptune. I wouldn't count on it. Yup, Mr. Star doesn't seem to be the type to lie at all, though I would like to know about the world he comes from. You mean you two just took it at face value and believed he wasn't from this world? Receiving two nods of side, well if anything he is a good party member, well not at the moment. Yeah, I know, look at all the treasure chests he's leaving unopened. Walking over to one such treasure chest, Neptune opened it and pulled out some green bottles. Man, we would have to farm more of these if I didn't pick these up. Treasures are good and all, but don't you think we should catch up to Naruto and make sure he doesn't get hurt? He's fine, if anything he can transform, and oh yeah, it's probably best that we catch up to him and make sure he doesn't transform and be all cocky again. Come to think of it, how do you two transform anyway? Neptune stopped and thought for a bit before shrugging her shoulders. I don't know how I do it, I just pull on some energy and poof I turn into an awesome flying sword wielding babe. Maybe Histy can tell you why you're able to transform, Kompa suggested. Hey yeah, that's a great thing to ask her if I was actually able to contact her. Most of the time she just contacts me randomly, so I don't know how I would get in contact with her. A fork in the road, I always wanted to say that, Neptune said as she looked on at the multiple paths that lead deeper into the cave. Now which path would Naruto most likely have taken? After asking that a loud explosion was heard from the left path. My gut's telling me he's that way. Neptune shouted, pointing at the path where the noise didn't come from. We have no time for games, Neptune, let's just hurry up and go help Naruto. Pouting, Neptune went on the left path followed by her party. The party, after traversing for a few minutes, soon came to a sight of a slightly panting non-transformed Naruto facing off against a sandworm. Why hasn't he transformed yet? Neptune asked as she saw Naruto dodge a barrage of lasers. I don't know, but instead of wondering why we should probably go and help him, dashing forward if landed a couple of kicks onto the worm's back before backing off to avoid a counterattack. Screeching out in frustration, the worm slithered after, if only to be stopped by a storm of bullets. Normal bullets aren't hurting it that much, Kompa stated as she saw the worm shrug off the hits and continue on towards it. Then maybe this will help. Kompa switched bullets and fired again, only this time instead of regular bullets, a small fire bullets rained down at the worm, effectively halting its movements. Now that you're still, burst shot. A huge burst of energy shot out from Kompa's syringe and blasted the worm towards Naruto. When did you girls get here? Not missing a beat, Naruto punched the incoming worm, wincing a bit from the momentum it had gathered. Not that I'm complaining, but I thought you guys would be busy grabbing all the treasure chests and such. Putting a bit more strength into his fists, he knocked it off the ground in front of him before spinning to deliver a strong kick to launch it higher. Well, we were going to hunt for more treasures, but then we heard big explosions and such, so we figured it would be best to help you. Rushing over to Naruto, she jumped and following her lead, Naruto held his hands out. See, we're a good party for coming to help you out. Grunting, Naruto threw Neptune up towards the worm, which she slashed multiple times as she passed. Well, this is much easier than before. Watching the worm fall, he saw it try to get up only for Neptune to land harshly on the worm. Totally, we've definitely gotten a lot stronger from the last time we went dungeon crawling, Neptune stood proudly. We didn't even need to transform this time. Before anyone else could say something, laughter could be heard. Ha 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 ha. I've found you, Neptune. I didn't think you actually fell to the world below. Who's there? What's with that melodramatic laugh? Don't mock my snickering. Pushing people's buttons, you've not changed a bit. A light purple-skinned woman appeared in front of the party. She had on a form-fitting skimpy dress and a witch hat that went along well with her current attire. The woman then continued, makes it easier for me to desire your demise. Brace yourself. Without any other warning, the witch charged forward at Neptune with a spear and started stabbing at Neptune. Whoa, calm down there. Neptune shouted as she ran towards the party to regroup. Time for your end. Easily catching up to Neptune, she swung her spear at Neptune. Closing her eyes, Neptune huddled downward, bracing herself for the attack, only to never feel the sharp pain she expected. Damn it Neptune, get your head in the game. Hearing Naruto's voice, she opened her eyes and saw him holding back the spear with two kunes. Raw. Shouting out, Naruto forced the woman backwards. Picking herself up, Neptune jumped away and grouped up with Kampa and if. Sorry about that guys, I'll take this seriously now. True to her word, Neptune powered up and transformed. Kampa, provide covering fire for me, and if so we can get around her. Roger that. Switching bullets to fire again, Kampa started firing away at the woman, which were easily deflected. Ah, you'll have to do better than that to get at me. She began, only to step backwards to avoid a drop kick from if. Double team time, Naruto shouted as he went into cover if and delivered a kick himself, which the woman blocked with her spear. Pushing off of the spear, he jumped upwards and revealed that a couple of kunes, which he promptly threw down at her. You annoying bug. Twirling the spear she held, the woman deflected most of the kunai and moved to retaliate against Naruto. Surprise, seeing one more object thrown at her, she slashed at it only to hear a sharp pop and then have everything around her go a bright white. Landing, Naruto grinned before gathering energy. Here I come. Transforming, Naruto stepped out of the familiar white light and held a newly formed katana in his hands. You didn't need to transform, you know. I could have taken her down myself. Looking over his shoulder, he saw the transformed Neptune approach him. Really now? Well, last I saw you were about to get your ass kicked by her, were it not for me. Also, who do you think it was that bought you enough time to transform? Butting heads, now the two didn't pay any mind to the purple-skinned woman who had regained her sight and was looking furious. I'll get you for that, you brat. She started only to stare in shock at Naruto. What, another one? But how? She began before aiming her spear at them. No matter, you'll both die here anyway, she yelled, charging the two distracted transformed warriors. Before she could reach her target, if appeared in front of her, somersault, performing the move she just declared. She managed to have the woman stop her charge to avoid getting hit. Why, you little. Burst shot. Swinging the spear to the side, she deflected the blast from Kampa, who was taking aim again. I've had enough of you pests. With another swing of her spear, she managed to land a hit on if, launching if at Kampa. Now stay over there and wait your turn. You know, you let your guard down. Acting on instinct, the woman moved her spear behind her and managed to block a slash from Neptune. Nice reflexes, Neptune commented before shifting her body and quickly turning to deliver a kick to the woman's side. Grunting out in pain, the woman knocked Neptune back and surveyed her situation. Trying to find a way to win now, are you? Looking over to the voice, she saw Naruto smirking at her. Well then, let's see you get past this. In a slow maneuver, he tossed his sword high into the air. Petty tricks like that won't work on me, she said, focusing on Naruto instead of the sword. In a small dance, she evaded all the blows Naruto sent her way when he closed in on her and unleashed a flurry of fists. Useless, you may be stronger, but against me you're going to lose. Shocked to hear something coming from above them, she looked up only to see Neptune coming down fast with two swords. It's over. Landing two slashes with both weapons, the woman was launched backwards harshly. Took you long enough, Naruto said as he took the sword in Neptune's left hand. Well, you purposefully threw the sword higher than needed. Arguing with each other, they didn't see the woman get up slowly. Damn it all. How the hell is there another one here right now? It shouldn't even be possible. Also, how the hell is she so strong? TCH, that's right, this is Neptune. It's her home turf, Neptune. I don't know about that other brat, but I'll soon find out how, and when I do, it won't be like this next time. Don't forget my words. She quickly disappeared in a dark flash, only to not see that Neptune and Naruto were still arguing and had paid her no attention at all. Seeing how the two were busy, if just commented, "Who was that?" She came out of nowhere, threw a hissy fit and left. She must be menstruating or something. Now I-chan, we all go through that sometime, so don't be so mean, Kampa said, trying to calm if down. That doesn't mean you can go on a murderous attack on random people, if started as she tried to calm down. Will you two shut up now? The witch is gone, so you two can untransform now. Fine, both Naruto and Neptune said at the same time before they returned to their normal states. Good, now if you two are done acting like kids, let's get on out of here. I don't want some other woman on her time to come down here and attack us. I-chan, wait for me, Kampa stated, going after If, who was storming out the cave, leaving Naruto and Neptune behind. You know, you transform into a cocky bastard. Well, if anything, I think you're more annoying than my cocky self. Hey, you take that back. Just stating facts, Naruto started to walk towards the exit. Well, at least I'm not dull and boring like you. Not gracing Neptune with a response, Neptune started to chase after him, throwing insults which Naruto tried to ignore. God damn it, Neptune, why the hell am I even traveling with you? Well, he tried. Wowie. Look guys, there's like nothing in front of us anymore. The party could hear Neptune shout out to them. Come on guys, hurry on over here and look at this with me. Wait a second, does the reason you're not coming over here is because you guys are scared? The party in question moved at the same sedate pace, ignoring Neptune's incessant taunting. Well tried. What is with her? She always acts like a little brat. If voiced her frustration, I don't know how long I can stand being around her. Feeling Naruto pat her on the back, If turned to face him and expect some words of encouragement, only to lose that notion when she saw his eyes which looked dull staring at her. It only gets worse, Naruto repeated over and over. Feeling worse now, both Naruto and If hunched over and stayed like that for a while. There must have been some kind of epic war and stuff, Neptune continued on and on, not paying any mind to her lagging party members. Taking a break from moping, If stared at Neptune running near the edge between the landmass and the sky around them. I have to say though, how bad is her amnesia if she keeps on asking stupid questions like that? Sometimes I don't think it's the amnesia, sighing, Naruto continued, ever since this party was created with us, Neptune was always acting like that. Yup, she came falling out of the sky with Mr. Star over there and landed with a big boom over in a park. If stared at the two of them as if they were crazy. You mean to tell me that our party leader has amnesia? Yup. If continued staring at them, well, mainly Naruto, so If began, not only is she a hyper child, but she's lost most of her memory and now leading our party to who knows where. When you put it that way. Throwing down her hands in frustration, If marched over to Naruto and grabbed him by the shoulders. This is partly your fault, I don't know how, but it somehow is. Naruto tried to think of something to refute that statement and opened his mouth to say something only to stop. I think she has a point, Naruto thought, looking a bit more depressed at that realization. Wait, have I been the one feeding her craziness? His face turned from depressed to pure horror. What have I done? Now Mr. Star, if it wasn't for you, Neptune would be a planted face first into the ground like a turnip. Kampa reassured the conflicted Naruto. He had also allowed us to go on this journey to save the world. Showing newly emerging bipolar tendencies, Naruto smiled before letting the smile drop down a bit, but my world needs me, too lost in thought. Naruto didn't see the incoming blur until it crashed into him. Gah. Feeling a weight on his chest, Naruto looked up to see a smiling Neptune looking straight down at him. What are you doing being all mopey and stuff? We have an adventure to get going on. Histy isn't going to save herself, you know. This girl, don't worry, Neptune will save her. Pushing himself up, he ignored the little yelp Neptune let out from being knocked off of Naruto. Hopefully we can also find a way back home for me, Naruto mumbled under his breath as he passed Kampa and If. Missing the looks everyone was now giving him, Naruto continued to the bridge-like structure. So this is the structure that lets us get over to that incoming landmass, right? As if on cue, a landmass slowly moved itself in place across from the bridge. A weird beep sound was heard before a voice came over on an intercom. Teleportation to Lean Box is now available. Those waiting for teleportation, please have your permits ready. In another beep the voice died down and a couple of people around the area started to head to the bridge. Hey Neptune, you have the permit right? If asked, trying to catch up to the rapidly walking Naruto. Yup, I sure do, it's right in this po. Neptune reached into one of her pouches only to freeze up. In this poo, now frantically reaching all over her body searching for the permit. If couldn't help but stare at Neptune in anger. Did you lose the permit? No, I just misplaced it somewhere. Kampa, help me look for it. Nep, this is all your fault, so you have to search for it by yourself, Kampa said in a stern voice, making Neptune squirm back a bit. But. Having enough of seeing Neptune squirm, Naruto made it back to the group. I have the permit here. Pouch. He pulled out a piece of paper and waved it in front of their eyes. Did you really think I would let her take care of something this important? Lifting his hand up, he kept it out of reach from Neptune, who was now jumping up for it. Good point, If said, ignoring Neptune's attempt at jumping higher to grab the permit. Well, we should hurry up and get going before the landmass drifts away. A bit eager to get to Lean Box, If walked faster and could be seen with a bit more of a skip in her step. Ignoring the eagerness that If was trying to hide, Naruto turned his attention back to Neptune, who was crouching down looking ready to jump up again. Right before she could jump though, Naruto just karate chopped her on the forehead. That's enough, Neptune, let's hurry up and get to Lean Box. No fair. I'm the party leader, so I should be holding on to all important items and put them into the key item slot. The what now? You know, key item slot, stuff like the key fragments and this permit are items we'll never sell, so they'll go under the key item slot and be safe from anyone accidentally losing them. Neptune stated before holding her hand out. Now hand it over so I can place the item in that safe place. Just like you did before and lost both the key fragment and this permit. What are you talking about? The key fragment is right, Neptune started as she reached into the same pouch she did before. It's gone. Neptune shouted and started to panic. What are we going to do? How are we going to save Histy? As Naruto saw Neptune panic even more, Naruto smiled before stopping Neptune's panicking by placing a hand on her head and patted it. I held onto both items when you left them both at a hotel we stayed at before, Naruto said, pulling out the key fragment. I'll hold onto the important items from now on so we don't lose anything. Laughing sheepishly, Neptune rubbed the back of her head before looking up to Naruto. Well, I guess I'll let you be the mule for this party then. Leaning into his hand some more, Neptune smiled some more. Can you pat me some more, it feels nice. Sighing, Naruto gave in and patted her head some more, receiving more happy giggles from Neptune. He would have done some more if Kampa hadn't stopped them. "Oh no fair, I want some head pats too." Trying to get in between Naruto and Neptune, a scuffle occurred between the two girls as Neptune tried to continue receiving the patting while fending off Kampa. "Go away Kampa, this is a flag between me and Naruto." Nep, I believe it's Naruto and I also sharing is caring." Having had enough, Naruto stepped away from the two and left the two behind as he caught up to If I do something for Neptune and a fight breaks up between the two. Why? Staring at him, If could only shake her head. "You really don't know what happened, do you?" Then again, with Kampa and Neptune they might not understand as well. A sweat drop appeared on If's head as she thought on it further. "Ah If, you cat thief, what are you doing stealing my Naruto time?" Neptune shouted out as she ran towards the two. "You can't just steal someone away like that, it's not fair." "That's right I-chan, besides out of all of us you spend the most time with him." "Ah what are you talking about?" "Oh you're talking about when we go in dungeons and such, most of the time we do that. You run off with Kampa trying to kill as many monsters as possible, or you and Kampa are stuck at the entrance because of some transformation mishap and Naruto's gone ahead and leaving him alone when he's transformed is not good." Excuses, I bet out of all of us you have the most heart points with Naruto. You're planning on having him all to yourself after we're done with this quest. Is that true I-chan? That's not fair, at least you could share him with the rest of us. Rubbing his temples, Naruto tried to prevent the oncoming headache that he felt coming. "You know what, I think I'm just going to get to the next landmass, even if you guys don't make it," Naruto stated as he made for the next landmass. "Ah wait up." The three shouted after him. Coming off the bridge in a small dungeon, the party was greeted with green open plains, mountains, lakes and such. The atmosphere was a calm one, almost serene, and served to calm down Naruto a lot. "This place looks like it would be filled with nature energy if there was chakra," Naruto thought with a smile. Taking a deep breath, he took a few steps forwards before falling down onto his back. Pure bliss, enjoying the feeling of the wind and sun on his body, Naruto almost drifted off into a peaceful slumber, almost. "Hey, that looks peaceful, let me join you." Naruto had only a second after he heard her voice when he felt a familiar weight slam down onto his chest. Oof. Choosing to ignore Neptune and try to enjoy the brief respite of peace, Naruto kept his closed eyes and felt a bit more rejuvenated before opening his eyes to see Neptune snoozing on his chest. "Neptune, can you get off my chest?" Naruto gently asked, only to receive a snore as a response. Looking over at the two other party members for help, he saw Kampa smiling and If smirking as she took out one of her cell phones and snapped a picture. "This one's going to be good for blackmail sometime later on," Naruto heard If say before she took a seat next him. "Really peaceful here, isn't it?" If asked after a time of silence. "Yeah it is." Hearing some rustling, he looked on his other side to see Kampa lie down next to him and snuggle into his side. Not feeling up to moving her away, Naruto let her cuddle up to him and just sighed a bit. This place is really close to nature. It's what the goddess of this land wanted. She wanted this place to be a fantasy-like feeling where people use swords and bows. Guns and other such machines are not allowed here, and the atmosphere is perfect for children and the elderly, If stated proudly before browsing through her phone. Gently placing Neptune on his other side, Naruto sat up and tried to look over If's shoulder. Seeing her play around with the screen and different images pop up along with text, Naruto was a bit amazed. "What is that device?" "Oh this is a smartphone." If put her phone down and then picked up another one on her belt. "I always carry multiple phones to keep in contact with different people." Typing something rapidly on the phone she had just picked up, she sighed before putting that one away. "Smartphone? Does it act like a radio connection or something?" As soon as Naruto asked that, If just stared at him surprised. "You don't know what a smartphone is?" Seeing him nod, If stared at him some more before rummaging around her belt. "Let's see. Aha, here it is." Pulling out an orange phone, she handed it to Naruto. "I've had this phone for a while, but it's fulfilled its purpose, so why don't you take it?" Seeing no qualm in taking it, Naruto accepted the phone and began to look through the buttons and such. "How does this thing work?" Naruto asked If, who eagerly looked over his shoulder and directed him on how the phone worked. After an hour of explanations and such, Naruto got the hang of his new phone and even found a vocal artist he enjoyed, someone by the name of 5PB. She even had a radio show that aired and answered fan mail and such. It even talked about the dungeon he and his party had cleared when they first met If. Having had Neptune wake up during the middle of explanation, she was now fully awake and also sporting a phone, courtesy of If, which she was using to spam mail Naruto pictures she was taking of the surroundings every 5 minutes or so. Kampa was walking by, leaning on his side, holding onto his arm as support as she was still a bit drowsy. Seeing as she wasn't sleepy enough to be carried, she had denied Naruto's offer to be carried on his back. With a furious blush, she continued on keeping pace with Naruto. The party, finding it a bit too late to do any questing or visit a basilicum, the party found the nearest town and decided to rest for the night. Find an inn, the party found a room, but sadly, it seemed to be a normal occurrence for there to be only one room, as there was only one room left. Seeing no point in arguing it anymore, Naruto just went with the party to the room where Kampa immediately passed out on a bed and Neptune soon followed. Smiling at the sight, Naruto laughed a bit before turning to If, who was busy on her phone. "I'll be heading out for a bit, don't expect me anytime soon," Naruto said to her, which If nodded off it, barely paying attention to him as her phone grabbed all of hers. Moving out of the town they were staying in, Naruto moved to the nearby forest and took it all in before sighing. "Reminds me of the forest near Konoha," Naruto said to no one in particular. Seeing no point in moping like Sasuke, Naruto continued deeper into the forest before sitting down against a tree. "Let's see, I know I've tried before, but my chakra should be there." Closing his eyes, he started to meditate, searching for anything. Feeling around his body, he tried to feel for his chakra pathways, only to find out he couldn't find them. Thinking on this situation, he tried to remember one of the few times he had tried to pay attention in class. It was something about chakra and how every living being required it to live. He was no genius, but he sure knew that without chakra he should be dead. After all, severe chakra exhaustion was not a fun experience. Tossing his hair around in frustration, Naruto broke his meditation and decided to instead try to focus on gathering the energy that makes him transform. As he started to gather the energy, he stopped and quickly jumped backwards to avoid an attack. Looking at the place where he had just been meditating, he saw a giant sword. Looking over to where it was coming from, he saw a giant armored monster 3 times larger than him holding it. "Great, well, I did come out here to get some training done, so you'll be a great warm-up." As if knowing it was taunting it, the monster roared before lifting up its sword and slamming it down with surprising speed. Deciding to practice dodging, Naruto sidestepped the attack and taunted the monster again. "You're going to have to do better than that." The monster roared again. This time the roar shook Naruto a bit as it echoed throughout the forest. In its newfound rage, it seemed to drop all forms of technique and just started rampaging towards Naruto. If the speed before was impressive, the speed the monster was displaying now was insane. Left, right, left. Naruto didn't have any time to jump back to prepare himself against this onslaught of attacks that was coming from the monster. After dodging for a minute straight, Naruto saw a small opening when the monster slammed its sword down at him. Using the brief second that it had its sword on the ground, Naruto jumped on top of the sword and then jumped backwards to gain some distance from it. This is no joke. Seeing that the monster was still waving its sword back and forth, not even checking to see if Naruto was in the attack zone, Naruto decided to think of a plan only to be launched towards his right into a tree. Gah! A scream of pain emerged from him, from the pain of not only being hit but slamming into the tree. Looking over to where he just was, he saw another one of the giant armored monsters. Well, this is not good. Not panicking at the situation, Naruto just gathered his breath and stood up only to wince slightly. Grabbing his side, he felt a wet sensation making him wince at the idea on what happened. No use on thinking what has happened. With that thought, Naruto focused the other energy source he had been so used to. Surprisingly, it took some time to gather the energy and it didn't come as willing as it normally did. The two monsters, on the other hand, were now focusing in on Naruto's current location and started rushing towards him. Not enough time, Naruto thought as he broke off gathering energy and pulled out a massive kunai which he threw at the monsters. Grimacing as he saw the monsters just bulldoze their way through the kunai, which bounced harmlessly off of their armor, Naruto moved into their attack zone and prepared for another plan. The two hulking monsters started launch their attacks against Naruto, only for Naruto to dodge deeper into their zone until he was between them. "Come and get me," Naruto muttered out as he concentrated on both monsters and waited for their attacks. Seeing the two raise their swords, Naruto jumped onto the one on his left, confusing it for a bit, only for it to scream out in rage when the other one had continued its attack and slashed deeply into it. Grinning at what was happening, Naruto put an explosive tag onto the monster and then jumped to the other one to place one on it before jumping away. "Katsu!" Naruto shouted, grinning mad, only for it to slowly drop when no explosion happened. "Of course, no chakra," Naruto mumbled angrily. A brief thought came to his mind of running away, but the thought of the monsters being so close to town threw that notion away. "I'll take you down no matter what," Naruto shouted as a newfound resolve came to him. Grabbing a massive kunai, Naruto attached a few ninja wire to them and threw them in an intricate pattern all around the golem-like monsters who were still fighting each other. Once he got all the kunai and wire out, he strummed one of the wires that was closest to him. The resulting vibrations went down the wire and clashed against the golems, who finally found out they were trapped inside a wire maze, binding their bodies if they tried to move. This will only keep them there, not kill, Naruto thought, before going back to trying to find that energy source. He found it again and tried to accept it into him, only to find it was still difficult and wasn't acting like it was when he was on Neptune. Hearing a few of the wires snap, Naruto tried brute forcing the energy, and surprisingly the energy responded and a familiar light engulfed Naruto. "About time," Naruto said before stepping out of the light only to find himself looking a bit different from when he usually transformed. Instead of the usual purple hair and katana he wielded, he found himself with green hair which didn't spike up but matted down and covered his neck. In his hand was a long spear which had a dark green tint around the blade. This is new, Naruto thought before putting aside the new changes to study later. Looking at the monsters that were breaking free of the last bit of wire, Naruto couldn't help but wince a tiny bit considering that was the last of his wire that he carried. Getting his mind back on track, Naruto found himself thinking of what to do to get rid of the monsters easier instead of going gung-ho like he normally did. For now, divide and conquer is probably the best thing to do. Gathering power into his spear, he lifted it above his head before throwing it towards one of the monsters. Take this. With the power he had gathered, the monster was knocked back deep into the forest, leaving the other giant by itself. The monster standing by itself looked at where its comrade had been blasted off to before staring at Naruto and letting out a roar. "Don't worry, he'll be next after I'm done with you." Flicking his hand to the right, he smirked as the spear he had just tossed materialized back into his hand. "This will be over fast." With a kick of his legs he flew over to the giant. Roaring again, the giant brought down its sword towards where Naruto was, only for Naruto to twist his body to the right, dodging the sword. Stopping his momentum, Naruto struck forward with his spear, stabbing it deep into the monster's hand. Surprisingly, the monster didn't let go of the spear and instead lifted its other hand and brought it down on Naruto. "You should know, I'm not only faster but stronger in this form now." Naruto calmly lifted his other hand and stopped the giant's fist from smashing his head. "I'm going to end it now." Pushing with the hand that had stopped the fist, Naruto sent the giant back in the air quite a distance. "Spiral thrust," Naruto shouted out as he used the hand holding the spear to thrust it at the monster, with some spin added to it. The monster didn't even have a chance to react as the spear pierced through it and it soon disappeared. Now for the second one. Turning to where he had sent the monster, he stopped when he saw a green-haired woman who had it in a ponytail staring at him. Seeing how she was dressed, Naruto couldn't help but look down to calm down the blush that appeared on his face. The woman in question was dressed in a white material similar to what he was in, only hers covered his neck and barely her breasts, leaving a lot of underbreast showing. If that wasn't enough, her whole navel was shown bare and only to have her modesty covered in a white bikini of sorts. I come here on a request to eliminate high-level monsters that are in a beginner area, and here I find one of them destroyed and another one near death." The woman spoke with a bit of mirth in her voice. "Now who is the mysterious person in front of me that seemed to have defeated them?" Regaining his bearings, Naruto thought on what to do before speaking. "Shouldn't you give your name first before asking for someone else's?" Bringing her hand to her mouth, she laughed a bit before continuing, "That's true, but I don't think you'd object to going first." "Well, haven't you ever heard of the saying ladies first?" Trying to find some way to get out of his situation, Naruto discreetly observed his surroundings. "Beside, we'll probably never meet each other ever again, so why the need for a name?" That may be, but in a burst of speed that Naruto had some difficulty tracking, she appeared in front of him. "You are something that has caught my attention." Naruto mumbled out in defeat. Looking over at her face, he saw her smile before she caressed his face with her hand. "Aw, your name means fish cake, how cute." Fuming at being called that, Naruto tried to retort only to be cut off. "Well, since you've been so kind, my name is Green Heart. I would sit around and talk some more, but I have some matters to attend to right now." Green Heart stepped away from Naruto and started to fly into the sky. "You should also probably get that wound looked at. Even if you are able to transform, your wound will not fully heal." Final words as Green Heart flew off and quickly disappeared in the night sky, leaving Naruto alone. Letting out a breath that he didn't know he was holding on to Naruto's side and let go of his new transformation. "Ow, that hurts," Naruto said as he held his side and still saw a wound that had healed a bit was bleeding a bit. "It should be fine to rest a bit here, right?" Receiving no answer, Naruto leaned against a tree before drifting off. "Someone singing," Naruto thought to himself as he let his mind wake up a bit. Feeling a bit better, Naruto slowly opened his eyes to see a figure a few feet away from him singing. Shifting himself to be sitting instead of lying down, Naruto looked down to see that his wound from earlier had been dressed. He didn't get much time to investigate it as the music stopped and the figure he saw from earlier made its way over to him. It took a while for his eyes to adjust to the lack of light in the area before he finally saw who was standing over him with a worried look. The person in question was a long blue-haired female in a two-piece outfit. "Hey, are you alright?" she asked in a timid manner. Giving her a nod, the girl looked relieved. "Are you the one who dressed my wound?" Naruto asked, receiving a nod in return. "Thank you for that," Naruto said as he tried to stand up only for the girl to gently push him back down. "You shouldn't be moving yet, that wound you had was healing, but if you move right now you could open the wound again." Realizing how close she was, she backed up again and started furiously blushing. "I'm sorry about that." Ah, don't be, you did save me a whole bunch of time by helping me. If anything, I should be apologizing to you for getting you to help me on a night like this. Getting a good look at her face, Naruto suddenly had a thought pop up in his head. Are you perhaps 5PB? Ah, the girl let out before backing off some more. I'm not 5PB, my name is Lyrica. Lyrica let out quickly, waving her hands in front of her. Oh sorry, it's just that you really do look like her, and your singing sounds like hers, and I really do enjoy her songs. Lyrica blushed furiously. Ignoring her protests, Naruto stood up and looked towards Lyrica. Thank you for taking care of me, but I really should be getting back with my party. They might get worried, and then Neptune would do something stupid again. Bound to Lyrica, he grimaced a bit and started making his way out of the forest. Oh, in case we ever meet again, the name is Uzumaki Naruto. Seeing him exit the forest, Lyrica let out a deep breath. I was able to talk to someone without yelling, she said, extremely giddy. I wonder if I'll ever see him again. She stood there for a bit before returning to what she was doing, singing. Not that she got much time to herself, as she soon met another person. What soon followed were screams, a minor panic attack, and a confused if left alone in the forest. Silently making his way into the inn that the party had been using, Naruto didn't expect the lights to suddenly turn on and see Neptune plus Kampa looking at him with a disappointed look on their faces. It was an almost comical scene, with Neptune and Kampa having pulled two large armchairs from somewhere in the inn and set them up so that they would be facing him when he came in. Oh, what are you two doing up so early? Naruto asked, trying to break the awkward silence that was building in the room. The two didn't stop staring at him, causing him to unconsciously take a step back. Why don't you take a seat, Naruto? Naruto froze at that and looked at Neptune, who was smiling, yet he couldn't feel any warmth behind it. Kampa and I were just talking about how a party should function, and one of the main things was that a party does not wander off on its own. Looking around, Naruto didn't see if and was about to point it out, only for Kampa to cut him off. Oh, I wouldn't worry about if right now, after all she has something else waiting for her when she comes back. Hearing her soft tone, Naruto couldn't help but shiver a bit, not that he was cold or anything, it just felt really chilly suddenly. Now then, Naruto, why don't we start talking about where you were? Kampa paused as she studied Naruto, and you can also tell us what happened to you, sighed. A look of worry took over both Neptune and Kampa. Oh, this, Naruto pointed at the bandaged wound on the side that was visible due to his frayed clothes. I got this from a training accident. Trying to play it down, Naruto reached up behind his head and started laughing a bit awkwardly. Immediately the atmosphere broke and Kampa rushed over to his side and undid the bandages. Whoever dressed this for you did a really good job, Kampa said, a bit impressed by the work. But they need to be changed right now. It looks like the bandages are pretty old now, so time to get to work. Producing a roll of bandages, a sweat drop appeared on Naruto. No, I'm fine really. Naruto held up his hands in front of him as he tried to back off from Kampa. Having none of that, Kampa latched onto his arm. Now I'm a nurse in training, so you don't have to worry one bit. Flashes of images went through his eyes as he remembered seeing Neptune being almost suffocated. Looking off to the side, he saw Neptune scared stiff, shivering at the sight of the bandages. Really, I'm fine. Trying to downplay his injuries, he saw it didn't work and turned around to sprint for the door, only to trip. What the? Looking at what caused him to trip, he saw a bandage wrapped around his leg. How did that get there? Kampa questioned before smiling. Well, no matter, here I go. In a flash, Naruto soon found his arms and legs bound. How? Naruto couldn't even finish that as he found his mouth gagged by more bandages. Looking pleadingly over towards Neptune's direction, he felt all hope disappear as he saw Neptune somehow in a turtle bind from the bandages. Continuing staring at her, Neptune had tears forming in her eyes. I don't even know how this happened. Neptune shouted out and struggled to get out, only for the bandages to tighten. Returning his attention to the perpetrator, he saw a confused look on her face as she stared at two lengths of bandages in her hand. Let's see, this one goes here, and that one I think I have to pull. A pained whimper escaped Naruto's gagged mouth. I believe this one goes here. An audible crack was heard as Naruto's right arm was stretched backwards painfully. And this one here. An unbelievable amount of pain coursed through Naruto's body. Finally a loop, and I'm finished. Kampa stepped back to look at her work, only to frown. What are you doing hanging from the ceiling, Naruto? Kampa asked, only to turn her attention to Neptune, who somehow swung next to Naruto and was now hanging off the ceiling next to him. Kampa, I think you should not touch any bandages for a while. Neptune struggled to get out of her bindings to no avail. But I'm training to be a nurse. Kampa looked at Naruto, who had passed out. Oh no, Mr. Star. Kampa tried to make her way over to Naruto, only to trip over one of the bandages that was lying around. In that moment, Naruto crashed into Neptune before the two tangled together and crashed onto one of the beds. Getting up, Kampa looked for the two, only to see them on the bed. Naruto still passed out, and Neptune also passed out with a large lump on her head. Aw, the two of them are sleeping. To Jeffy looking at them for a bit, a strange sensation went over Kampa before it went away. It is pretty late, I should be able to grab some more sleep before the sun rises. Deciding to sleep, Kampa took the bed next to the one the two were tangled up in. "Good night Nep Nep, Mr. Star." The only response she received was moans of pain. The grumpy Naruto and Neptune were both slowly trekking their way behind a cheery Kampa and a red-faced If. It wasn't that If was angry or blushing or anything, it was because If had laughed so hard that her face had turned red. In fact, she was still laughing, much to the annoyance of Naruto and Neptune. "Ahahaha, not only do you two end up tied up, but you ended up cuddling each other while tied together." If laughed. Grinning, she took out one of her phones and fiddled around with it, some before pulling up a picture of Naruto and Neptune sleeping as peacefully as they could while tangled together. "Ugh, when are we going to reach the Basilica and ask where all the tough monsters are?" Neptune asked, clearly still annoyed. Meanwhile with Naruto, "How the hell did I let her get blackmail material on me?" In deep thought, Naruto thought on how to get the phone away from If, or at least get some counter blackmail material. Feeling something irritating his neck, Naruto reached back and pulled out a small piece of bandage. "I never want to see another bandage as long as I live. I don't care if I'm bleeding to death or dying, don't get those things near me ever again." Tossing the bandage away, he didn't see it land on Neptune, who let out a small yelp and quickly brushed the bandage away. Snickering some more, If looked at the two before saying, "Well, I'm not sure about never seeing another bandage, but the Basilicum is right over there." Perking up at that, Neptune dashed past the party, leaving a dust trail behind her as she sprinted towards the Basilicum. Seeing no point in wasting energy, the rest of the party slowly made their way over to Neptune, who was panting slightly at the entrance of the building. "What took ye so long, slowpokes?" Neptune asked, looking as calm as she could while controlling her breathing. Seeing that there was a chance to mess with her, Naruto started, "Well, there was a store over there selling pudding, and we decided to go take a look, but then decided against it since you were already by the Basilicum." As soon as pudding was mentioned, Neptune shouted, "Really?" Only for that to cause her to lose control and show her exhausted self. Feeling a bit bad, Naruto walked up and patted her on the back. "Next time don't run off when the rest of the party just wants to walk over there." "But we were supposed to have a happy party moment where we all run over to the Basilicum and the camera shoots out a bit showing the sun and everything," Neptune stated, only to see Naruto shudder a bit. "Don't mention something like that again, it brought up some suppressed memories, and what do you mean by camera? I don't see any nearby." "Naruto, you're getting caught up in her pace again." Hearing If say that, Naruto shook his head. "I thought you would already be immune to something like her antics, but I guess not." Naruto opened his mouth to say something, but then shut it in favor of watching what was going to transpire. Seeing him closing his mouth, If took it as a sign of admitting defeat and took time to smile, only to stumble when she felt something latch onto her back. "You know you were really mean back at the inn." If recognizing the voice, If quickly looked over to where Neptune was supposed to be, only to see that she was not there, instead she was now on her back. "I think I need to get some payback for that." Letting out a lewd laugh, Neptune's hands started maneuvering their way all over If's body. "Hey, get off, Neptune." If shouted as she tried to remove Neptune from her back. Each time she reached for Neptune though, Neptune seemed to slither to a different location on If, making each effort futile. "What are you, some kind of bug or something?" "Now that's just mean." Neptune put on a pout before she poked If on her side. A chill went up If's spine as she stood up straight and let out a small meep. "Oh, could it be that you're ticklish?" Neptune asked the now slightly sweating If. "Oh, of course I'm not, why would I be?" Not allowing her to finish, Neptune started tickling If. "Ha ha ha ha, Neptune, stop." If shouted out between her forced laughs. "Why would I stop? This is too fun." Laughing maniacally, Neptune continued her assault, only to be stopped when someone tugged and lifted her by her hoodie. Turning around, she saw who it was. "Oh Naruto, why are you stopping my fun?" "Because we're wasting time, and I find it better to side with If more than you." Receiving a grateful nod from the flushed and panting If, Naruto nodded towards her. "Let's hurry up and get this over with. You did want to find out where the tough monsters were." Outing a bit, Neptune gave up and looked towards the ground. "Fine, but let me down before we go inside." Giving a look to Kampa and If then back at Neptune, Naruto made a quick decision. "Nah, I think I'm going to hold on to you like this so you won't make any more trouble." Naruto grinned and Neptune started to wave her hands around, trying to hit anything around her to get back onto the ground. Ignoring that, Naruto showed a great deal of strength by proceeding to walk into the Basilicum while holding onto the flailing Neptune. "Aw, can I hold Neptune like that?" Kampa asked as she saw Neptune struggle even more. "It looks really fun." "That looks fun to you?" If asked, having regained her breath, not sure about fun, but it looks like a parent handling an unruly child. "It does, doesn't it?" Kampa laughed a little bit before realizing that Neptune and Naruto were already inside. They already went inside without us. "Well, this usually does happen when two people in our party are just talking together. The other members usually just go ahead of us and I'm by myself." Sighing at that revelation, If slowly trudged her way inside of the building and saw a whining Neptune, a partly disappointed Naruto and a pouting Kampa. Walking over she saw the party talking to one of the Basilicum workers. As I said before, Basilicum is a local branch, so we don't carry much information on monsters. If you want more information on monsters you should head to the central Basilicum. Well, that sucks. Do you know how long it would take to get to that Basilicum? Neptune asked with her arms crossed and her right foot tapping impatiently. Well, you would have to take the main roads, but with monster activity at an all-high, the roads have been damaged, so you would have to. 5 days, Neptune shouted, causing the people around her to hold their ears in small pain. We don't have that much time to waste. Are you sure you haven't heard about any superpower monster activity around here? Neptune asked, getting desperate. Sorry, we only carry information that is local to the town here, and the last strong monster we had around here was taken care of last night. Hearing that, Naruto put his hand over his slightly sore side. Apparently Lady Greenheart came over to destroy the monsters. She took care of one, but the other one was already killed before she got there. Lady Greenheart? Naruto asked slowly. Who is Greenheart? Naruto asked as he remembered the woman who called herself Greenheart the night before. Oh, she is the goddess of this land. You can look at her blog where she posts her daily musings and such. Fumbling around, he soon pulled out a tablet and showed it to the group. It's this one right here. Looking at the screen, the party could see a long blonde-haired woman in a green dress doing a greeting which seemed to be on loop. The party members stared for a bit and Naruto thought more on seeing the picture. Well, if anything, there's one feature that stands out, which both have similar. Blushing a bit when he saw the figure in the blog push up her generous assets up. Still, the hair color and eye colors don't even match. Does that mean she transforms? Well, I think Histoire mentioned something about goddesses being able to transform, but what does that make me then? Also, what about Neptune? While all of this was going on in Naruto's head, Neptune had put the pout on her face again from seeing Naruto just stare at a picture that he didn't notice. Neptune. So that's what you like, isn't it? Looking down at her body, Neptune frowned and started to push together her breasts to try and make them stand out some more. I mean, I'm not that impressive right now, but my transformation has a pretty nice rack. What? Brought out of his thoughts, Naruto couldn't help but double take on what he just heard. You were ogling Greenheart's breast, don't lie. Neptune shouted, causing a few sweat drops to form around the room. Although Kampa was looking at her own breasts and then at Greenheart's. I wasn't ogling them, I was just thinking about something else. Not believing him, Neptune continued pestering him. So big boobs are you thing, huh? Well, why don't you find another party with bigger boobs if we're disappointing you? Neptune, what are you even, and what does my preference to boob size have to do with anything going on right now? It has everything to do in this party. I mean, look at if she's as flat as can be. If we have a party member that can't be supportive of all boob sizes, then it's going to ruin the party meta. Taking offense to that, If spoke up. What are you talking about? Flat as a board? Walking up to Neptune, If pointed at her chest. If I'm flat as a board, then what about you? Your chest size is smaller than mine. Oh god, Naruto mumbled out, pinching the bridge of his nose. But you forgot one important thing, If. Neptune said before light surrounded her. I'm much bigger than you in this form, and now transformed, Neptune said as she puffed out her chest in pride. That's cheating. If shouted as she started to butt heads with Neptune. If anything, your transformed self is like a whole different party member, so that chibi form of yours is still the smallest. So it's come to this, hasn't it? How sad it must be to try and make excuses for your small size, Neptune said, all while holding a condescending smirk. You. If had her hands form fists which were shaking with fury. Not backing off, Neptune pushed back, bring it washboard. The tense atmosphere surrounded the two that it caused everyone in the Basilicum to back off even if they weren't anywhere near the two. Before things could escalate though, Kampa came over. No fighting. Her voice echoed through the Basilicum and caused the two that were squaring off to break eye contact and stare at Kampa. Party members should not fight each other, especially if they're friends. Kampa stated, making exaggerated movements with her hands. While her intention was good, the two frustrated party members could only stare at two objects that bounced around as Kampa made her movements. We lost. The two dropped to the ground as they felt utterly defeated at the sight of Kampa's bouncing bosom. Hey, what do you mean you two lost? Still clueless, Kampa bent down to get level with the two, only to accentuate her bust even more. Ugh, she's rubbing salt on the wounds, Neptune said before light covered her and she turned back. Kampa, stop already, we lost. To think that we had such a terrifying party member. If stood up and started looking around only to not find the person who had started this debacle. Hey, where's Naruto? Looking around, the party members saw that they were indeed missing their only male party member. Before Neptune could call out, the Basilicum helper walked over and said, "Ah, your friend left a few minutes ago. He was muttering something about insanity and needing to vent or something." Damn it, Naruto, don't leave me here alone with Neptune. If shouted, quickly heading out of the building towards where she thought Naruto was going. Ah, Kampa, we have two runaway party members, quick after them. Alright Neptune, let's go. With that, the two remaining party members dashed out of the Basilicum. Monster extermination. It was just supposed to be a simple monster extermination mission, and here I am somehow lost in this forest, Naruto mumbled to himself as he trudged along in a forest that he was apparently lost in. It had been some time since the party left the Basilicum and decided to take a couple of missions nearby to wait for the roads to be fixed, either that or see if one of the landmasses came by, whichever came first. One of the missions that had been asked for them to be done was a simple monster extermination in a nearby forest, in fact the same forest he had met the two monsters in Green Heart. There were no longer any of those monsters that he faced down, at least not any that he had seen, and considering he had a tough time with it, he was glad that none showed. All that showed up were a bunch of weak monsters that were perfect for the party at their current strength, although they did come in great numbers, so many in fact that Neptune and Compa went gung-ho and went down one path, while Lif activated some kind of hunter mode and chased down a monster deep into the forest. That would be great and all, but that had left him alone with quite a lot of monsters who all looked at him like a piece of meat and proceeded to attack. He had defeated them all easily, a couple of kunai tosses and good wire placements had sealed off their movements, and then precise kunai throws were more than enough to defeat those enemies. Now that wasn't the problem was that he was separated from the rest of his party and he couldn't just leave them alone in this forest, even if the monsters were a bunch of weaklings. Normally this wouldn't have been a problem if he still had his ninja powers, Akachakra, but he didn't and he wasn't the best when it came to tracking, so all that left was blindly wandering around, trying to find out exactly where those three had gone. He continued walking only to stop when he heard footsteps rapidly approaching his location. Preparing himself he bought out one kunai, knowing my luck something troublesome is heading my way. Hearing the sound drop off, Naruto relaxed his stance and put his kunai away and prepared to walk, only to have something crash hard into his back. Gah, Naruto let out as he staggered forward before falling face first onto the ground. Why me? Naruto mumbled out into the ground before showing strength and pushing himself off the ground with the object that bumped into him still on his back. Iwa. The figure let out as it was flung backwards from the force Naruto used to push himself off the ground. Hey, what do you think you're doing standing in the middle of this forest like that? A clearly feminine voice shouted out. Turning around, Naruto saw a red-haired girl with a white highlight pointing at him. She was dressed in a weird red and black dress/kimono, and on her shoulder was a gold serpent dragon thing which seemed to be alive. Gathering his bearings, Naruto dusted his pants off before replying, "Well, I'm here hunting monsters, what's someone like you doing here running around?" Naruto asked, trying not to come off as a bastard of sorts. Monster hunting, if it's supposed to be monster hunting in this forest, does that mean you're in a party with my waifu? The girl stopped pointing and instead walked up to him and started staring him, almost like she was sizing him up. Not bad looking, can fight, is in a party with all females. Ah, you're a harem character. Naruto just froze there for a bit as he tried to comprehend what she had just said. After a few seconds of eloquently thinking of what to say to her, he finally let out, "What?" Well, Naruto at least tried. "Yeah, I know your goal, you plan on taking If-chan from me and also all of my other future waifus." Naruto tried to back off from the girl only for her to grab onto his arm. "You're not getting away from me and getting closer to If on my watch." Yanking his arm out, Naruto tried to get away only to comically trip over a tree. "Is it possible for you to just leave me alone and pretend that we never met?" "Nope, well, so much for wishful thinking." Sighing, Naruto stood up again and saw that he wouldn't be getting away from her anytime soon. Naruto leaned against the nearest tree and figured he would listen her out and she'd go away. "So who else do you have in your harem?" the girl asked in a completely innocent manner. "I mean, you have the makings of a main character and you look like someone who wouldn't settle for one girl, so how many have you got hooked?" Ugh, Naruto let out as he squeezed the bridge of his nose. What the hell is with this place, is everyone crazy? Naruto asked himself more than the girl before producing a kunai and tossing it towards the girl. In a yelp she ducked, letting the kunai fly by her. "What the hell was that for?" she asked, standing up and pointing at Naruto accusingly. Before she could ask any more though, a wail of pain was heard along with a dull thud. Turning around to see what happened, she saw a butterfly-like monster lying on the ground before it disappeared. Wow, that was actually pretty cool. Walking over to where the kunai was, she picked it up and inspected it. "Are you some kind of ninja or something?" "Something like that." Walking over to her, he plucked the kunai out of her hand. Twirling it with his index finger, he let it spin faster before letting it slip out and shoot upward. "Before you continue on though, who exactly are you and how do you know if?" "Oh, did I forget to introduce myself?" she mostly asked herself but still received a nod from Naruto. "Well, the name's Red and I'm on a journey to find my waifus." Feeling a headache coming, Naruto just shook his head before catching the kunai he had thrown up. "The name's Uzumaki Naruto." "But it?" Red asked, causing Naruto to faceplant a bit. "What, normally you would introduce yourself and state your purpose or some kind of title," Red stated as if it was the most known thing. Ah, well to me it's not common knowledge, Naruto replied, by the way what are you even doing here? Oh me? I'm just here to meet up with my waifu If-chan, and I thought I would help her out by bringing a whole lot of monsters her way. A whole lot of monsters? Naruto asked cautiously to Red who nodded enthusiastically. Yup, in fact before I met you I gathered a whole lot of monsters in this forest and had them all chase me. As if to prove her point the ground around them started to shake a bit. In fact I think they caught up to me, hearing a stampede of footsteps Naruto couldn't help but feel his headache increase. What made you think this was a good idea? Naruto asked as he prepared himself to run. Well I figured if I got all the monsters together then your quest to do a monster suppression would be over faster, and if it's over faster If-chan would be happier. I seriously hate how people think in this world, Naruto muttered before picking up Red by the waist and running in the opposite direction he heard the monsters coming from. Ah what are you doing, put me down. Red shouted, but Naruto ignored that and continued running with Red. Unless you want to be monster food I suggest not struggling, Naruto continued running as fast as he could through the trees. Those monsters sure are persistent, as he said that he looked behind to see if the monsters were catching up. When he did though he crashed into someone causing him to drop Red and roll on the ground with the person. Ah what the hell? The person shouted causing Naruto to perk up at that. If is that you? Standing up Naruto saw the person he had rolled with was indeed If. Oh thank god it's you, but then again now's not the best time to talk. What are you talking about Naruto? If asked as she accepted Naruto's hand and stood up. Well long story short. If-chan. Red shouted as she rushed in between the two to get to If. You're the girl from the forest. Red, right. If asked thinking hard to remember back when she first met her. You remembered my name. As expected of waifu number 1. Yeah waifu, so what can I do for you? If asked ignoring the worried look on Naruto's face as he looked at where he had just come from. Red on the other hand looked a bit confused before remembering what she was doing. Oh yay. You're traveling to hunt monsters, right? Red asked putting a cheery smile on her face. Yeah, Naruto is also part of that group that's hunting monsters I guess, remembering where they were If looked around a bit worried, we might still be surrounded. Let's get back to town as soon as we can. But I just got here. We're alone. Naruto coughed only to be ignored again. I came today I came for you and you alone. Looking a bit annoyed at Red Naruto sighed before pulling out a whole bunch of kunai and throwing them in a crisscross pattern with his ninja wire attached to them. Confused at what he was doing If was about to ask only for Red to continue. I came here for my beloved waifu number 1, I brought a whole bunch of them with me while risking my life. Looking a bit worried now If carefully asked, brought what? Monsters of course, I risked my life to bring them over here for you so you can fight to your heart's content. Speechless at that If could only stare at her incredulously. Seeing that Red continued excited, too happy to respond. Man, it was tough work to round up this many. But I know it's worth it to see that stunned face of yours. There's probably more than 100 here. Yeah, and 100 is too much for even me, Naruto said before turning away from the wire fence he made. Of course that's too much for you, I wouldn't be surprised if even the goddesses have trouble with that many. Looking around frantically If finally decided retreating was the best, we need to run. She said to the two. Huh? You're not gonna fight. But I worked so hard to bring them to you. Red, just take my hand and hurry. Grabbing her hand If made to run off only to stop when she saw Naruto not move. What are you doing Naruto, we need to get out of here. I should be fine, Naruto said as a familiar white glow surrounded him. After all, Naruto transformed I can handle a few and get away in this form. Naruto appeared in his purple katana form. I'm not in that other form I was in yesterday, wonder why that is. Flexing his arms a bit Naruto summoned his katana. Even for you that's crazy. If shouted. Yeah, hurry up and run with us Naruto. I'm just going to stall them, remember I can fly while you two can't. With a slash he created a gorge between them. Our quest here was monster elimination and almost all the monsters are gathered here so it's a great opportunity for me, now get going I'll be fine. Ah, you can be so irritating in that form Naruto. If shouted before turning to Red, come on Red we're leaving that idiot behind. Will he be okay? Red asked as the two started running away. Yeah, idiots like him don't die after all. Hearing a huge explosion and a maniacal laughter the two winced a bit, he also can go a bit overboard when he enters that form. Red's mouth formed an O before she silently prayed for the monsters. Meanwhile with Naruto over half the monsters that had been following him and Red were already destroyed with the last attack he had done. The monsters having seen that were a bit intimidated and holding their position away from Naruto. What are you waiting for, I'm here you weaklings. Naruto shouted out which got some rise out of them and made some of the braver ones start charging forward. Now that's what I want to see, Naruto said as he rushed forward to meet one of the faster running monsters that are not afraid to meet their doom, a quick slash, and the monster fell forward. As cocky as always aren't you Naruto? Turning towards the sky, Naruto saw Neptune's transformed come down and land next to him. "So what did you do to gather up this many weaklings up?" "It actually wasn't me this time." Pulling out a gun, he shot down a monster that was heading in from their right. It was some girl named Red who apparently is stalking If or something. "Oh, so our little If has her own stalker, how interesting." Slashing down another monster, Neptune smirked, "I'm at 21 now. Well, before you got here I took care of 50 or so." Shooting down another one, Naruto said, "So probably 62. Also I think she said something about If being her waifu." "Waifu, huh?" A quick succession of slashes left the monsters that were in front of her dead. 31. "Well, I think that's most of the ones that stayed." Doing a quick fly around of the area, Naruto landed back down next to Neptune. "By the way, where is Kampa?" "Oh, she's back at the inn. I was about to join her when I heard that explosion, so I decided to check out what was going on." Taking flight, Neptune soon left the tree line. Joining her, Naruto quickly rose up and started to fly towards where he saw the town nearby. "So you were going to leave If and I alone? Well, it's not like you two couldn't handle anything in there by yourselves." Catching up to Naruto, she then matched his speed and flew by his side. "Besides, we're leaving If by herself right now." "Well, If is with Red, and we did take care of most of the monsters in that forest." Naruto's attitude pulled back a bit. "Well, I'm tired now. Neptune, you go pick up the reward. If you need me, I'm going to go find out what's the status on that road fix." Now that I think about it, wouldn't we be able to fly If and Kampa over to the central basilicum? "First off, we don't know where it is," Neptune stated. "Second, we don't even know how long we can hold these forms for. Could you imagine what would happen if we transformed back to normal while 1,000 feet in the air?" "Good point. Well, I'll see you later then, Neptune." With a burst of speed, Naruto flew off towards the town, leaving Neptune by herself. "Well, there he goes. He could have flown with me to the mission board. I mean, it's in the same town." Neptune, semi-annoyed, flew off in Naruto's direction. "So there's been more of a delay with the repairs on the main road, not only because of the monsters, but apparently the nobles are holding up the repairs," Naruto explained to the party at the inn. "What, does that mean we won't be able to go to the central basilicum and meet Leanbox's goddess Boo?" Neptune said before munching on a cookie that was on the table. "So as I was saying, we should probably head to one of the landmasses that is coming by. It would probably be faster, and we can always come back when we find the key fragments on the other landmasses." Agreed, If said as she fiddled with her phone. "It looks like Loi is coming up tomorrow afternoon, so we should probably get ready to go there. Loi, they have the best alchemists and such there. Although we're going to probably get warmer clothes if we're going there," Kampa stated as she mock-shivered thinking about the climate there. "What do you mean warmer clothes, Kampa? Is it super cold there or something?" Neptune asked, getting intrigued. "Yeah, most of the time it's snowing there, making it one of the best places to play around and have snowball fights." "Cool." Neptune shouted, imagining all the snowballs she would be able to make. "Well, then I'm going to sleep right now so tomorrow will come faster and I get to play in the snow." Neptune jumped towards her bed and immediately crawled inside. "Oh wait, I didn't finish my pudding." Tossing the covers off, Neptune made her way back and sat down to continue eating her pudding. "Snow, huh?" Naruto gave a bittersweet smile before standing up. "Well, I'm going to go to the shop and buy some more equipment. I've been running low on kunai again and ninja wires." "Alrighto, can you buy me any new weapons you find?" Kampa asked, surprising Naruto a bit. "Sure, Kampa." Heading out, he went towards the store. "Well, no clues on how to get home yet, but I'm not going to give up yet." Heading back, he never saw the dark figure flying in the sky and looking down at him. He's nothing like any goddess, and he doesn't seem to be attached to any nation, so why is he able to transform? The figure asked herself before remembering something. "If my theory is correct, I could use him." A smile formed on her face before she started to laugh. "Oh, he would be the perfect piece to my plan." Thanks for watching this video. If you really enjoy this video, like, subscribe, and comment down below, and turn on that bell notification. Don't forget to support and follow the MARK20020 for writing that awesome fanfic, and also make sure to comment on this story, link in the description. See you in the next video. Goodbye.